would be changing lanes on the highway. So that's like a slight difference in the degree, whether it's at 5 degrees north of the equator, 6, 7, 8, 9, between the tropics. So that would be, there's another, just like the highway itself is going west, but then the car could be changing lanes. The car, in this analogy, the sun. So there's just that, you're right.
No.
Depending on where it is in the tropics, there's going to be a slight
Geo.
Well, let me finish. But based where you are between the tropics, there's going to be the additional arcing effect. That's the part that has to do with whether like the actual directional heading, that it rises south of east and sets south of west. That's the actual azimuth angle. But the actual descent angle is due to perspective because you're between it.
No, Geo. It's like this. Look at my stream. There's a road and the road is curving to the right. And somehow, magically, one person sees it going to the right and another person sees this right turn as a left turn. The only way that can happen is if they're antipodal to each other.
That's a fixed object on the ground that's completely different to something that's moving in the sky. Not. Yes, it is. Geo's analogy makes perfect sense. If you're standing on,
it doesn't make sense.
Can you guys let him finish though? If someone's speaking, please don't interrupt. Let the person speak. Go ahead, Napalm.
No, that's cool, man. I got to go to bed anyways. It can be demonstrated, right? So let's say the car you're looking down a very large highway. Let's say it's a 20-lane highway. The car is in the far left lane. I am standing on the right side of the highway. Geo is standing on the left side of the highway. As that highway, let's say it's a straight highway, we can use a straight one as an example, but the car slowly changes from the left lane to the right lane. When you're looking at that highway, Geo's on the left-hand side, that highway appears in the right-hand side of his vision, right? As he's looking down his lane, it appears all the cars are going to be on his right-hand side. And in his visual space, everything is going to go towards the center of his visual space. If I'm on the left-hand side, I'm looking the same direction as Geo. All of the lanes are going to be on my left-hand side, and it's going to appear to move towards the right-hand side from left to right in my visual plane coming towards the center. So a car that moves from the left to the right in both those scenarios is still going to follow the same pattern, moving left to right for me, right to left for Geo.
Nope.
That doesn't happen.
Oh my God. What do you mean? Nope.
Can I try?
Nope, that doesn't work.
But that is the general, that is the analogy. But hold on, we can all go.
The analogy is just incorrect.
Let me just say this real quick. You can respond, and I'm not going to go long. You can respond, but I'm just going to say the analogy, obviously every analogy has nuance to it. So Max, to give charitability to your position, I understand what you're saying. If you had a very sharp turned road, like 100 feet in front of you, then yes, of course, there's going to be a different thing because you now have a very local position on the ground of a car like that. Yeah, the picture right there you showed, a couple hundred feet. That is a different thing. So I understand like if that was the case, but in reality, in the sky, we see the band the sun goes in throughout the year. It is a decent sized band, but I mean, whether you want to call it I guess, if you had a 180 lane highway, then you'd have about 40 lanes in the middle. So you have because it's 180 degrees and you have roughly 20 degrees on either side. Well, 46 degrees. You'd have like a 46 degree highway or 46 lane highway. And then whether the sun is in a slightly different, but it still has that general trajectory of the straight road, especially if you're far south of the sun. In between that band, but go ahead.
But the problem is that the sun is doing this. It's going clockwise over the flat Earth, right? There's no reason why I would see it do this.
Well, it only does that around in the north for 6 months, and then it does it in the south for 6 months. So
yeah, and even when it's at its lowest point, which is actually my highest point in December, I still see it moving right to left. But if you go into God mode on the flat Earth, the sun is going clockwise. There's no reason why I should see it do this.
Somebody show Max dual pole flat Earth map where sun is going.
The dual pole is an implicit admission that the Earth is a globe.
Why? Why can't there be dual poles on a flat Earth?
Because you know that it implies that you have to Pac-Man from one side to the other, right?
No.
Yes,
Who's
it does.
saying you that? Are you following blindly few YouTube channels?
Huh? No, because there's right at this very moment, there are boats that are going this way and boats that are going that way.
All right. I mean, if this is a little okay. So the thing is, dude, what you brought on Pac-Man, people always, it's like the steps that people want to always go. The thing is, like what you're talking about the sun on the equinox and how that works is technically a slightly different topic than this arcing effect. So when you were talking about the arcing effect of you said it's going like this, and you pulled up the Gleason's map with the sun circuiting around, because
Yeah.
in terms of the sun setting right to left, left to right, all of that with the lanes and the highway. So if somebody right now in the discussion is saying they do think it's like that Gleason's or AE map, if it is like that, and if the sun moves like that, then you would have to get a rebuttal from them or how they would say it. However, even on that one, you would still get the right to left, left to right because of the way perspective works. But there would be a different azimuth of where the sun would be setting if it was the AE Gleason's single pole like that versus a dual pole. So when he mentioned dual pole, the whole claim of what you're bringing in, or the idea of Pac-Man, is a different issue, or it's a different topic rather to say, a different entailment of the sun having two poles. That's what I should say. It's a different category of entailment because it has to do with what the sun does at like right when it's on the equinox or whatever, when it's going straight. But when he brought that up, he's referring to, I think, the way that you have a symmetrical effect in the north and south if the sun goes around two poles, one for 6 months, one for the other. So instead of going to Pac-Man, would you agree that what he's saying does match the globe, at least in that way, if you have a dual pole in terms of the arc of the sun in the north and south?
No, it doesn't, because here, take a look at this. This is what Brian posted.
Oh yeah, Brian did a video on this where he drew. Yeah, that's like what we're talking about. Well, sort of. But okay, so it's pretty fuzzy, but I see it.
Yeah, but the sun is either doing this or this. The sun cannot be in two places at the same time. We're looking at the same sun. There's one sun, right? Right?
Yeah, if you're asking me, I'm not. Yeah, right now we're not talking about there being more than one sun.
Okay, so the sun is either doing this or doing that. It can be both.
It's not both. Those are. That's basically the full analemma you would put right there.
I know, but
they're different times a year.
When the sun is doing this, I still see it going this way, right to left. That's an impossibility.
Let me double check that.
Well, these are at different times a year.
I know.
We're talking about during June.
That's the azimuth difference. Like in the
Any
south,
time of year.
like when the sun is in the south. Someone's echoing. When the sun is in the southern region and it's the summer for them, the sun will rise like south of due east and it'll set south of due west.
Yeah, I know that. And the thing is that this still applies in all situations all the time.
Can I get a city or a country for where you're at, Max? Anywhere?
Montevideo, Uruguay.
Oh God, Okay, hold on.
I sent you a good Chilean one, Max, in your DM.
No, why would I use freaking Chile? I use mine.
Well, because it goes over the ocean, it's easy to see the right to left.
And this is over the ocean. Well, the river, but.
The river, yeah, the river to the sea. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, again, like the thing is with this, so what I would say is that when the sun, like if you're in the north or the south, let's say you're north of the Tropic of Cancer or you're south of the Tropic of Cancer, the general flow of the sun, it's arcing in your sky, and that's like the idea of the highway that you're between. And due to perspective, objects that are to your right that are setting in the sky like that are going to go right to left. If they're to your right, objects in the south, please don't interrupt and do that. If you want to say something, please just have good faith and wait till I'm finished and say your point, because doing that is just totally disruptive and just rude. So anyways, and if you're in the north and the road is on your left, you're going to get the left to right effect. The fact that it's also in some position between the tropics will have an effect, but that's not the main pattern that causes the angle of descent. The angle of descent is caused from perspective. The actual specifics of where it is, like in the lanes between the highway or the degree, is what relates to the azimuth, meaning whether it rises south of east, north of east, etc. The actual horizontal angle on the ground of where it's rising and setting in your 180 degree XYZ axis of sky, just like a planetarium.
That I already explained to you why this doesn't work. So right now the sun is in the north, right? So it's going clockwise over the North Pole. Yes? I still see today the sun going right to left. When I'm looking west here, the sun should be going left to right. This is the exact the average, average position of the sun right now, today.
All right, someone else wants to get in. Let me just say a quick rebuttal. Someone else wants to get in, but let me say this. Okay, in the idea of the,
more. Just tell us more, please. That's what we need. It's just more.
Okay, thanks. So in the 20-lane highway, if you are on the left side of that highway and the south side of it, and you're seeing the whole highway, it looks like it's going right to left because it's a huge long highway. If there was a car that while it's going away from you, if it's going from the far left lane to the far right lane, the overall trajectory of that is still going to be going right to left. Even though the car is making from the left to the right lane, which is in this case, it's like it's starting to go around the North Pole. That's not going to overpower with the ratios involved of the distances and stuff. That's not going to overpower the basic right to left perspective of that whole highway that's going right to left, just because the car is going from the left to the right lane, which is akin to it actually following on the actual latitude line that it's at that time of year.
No, that doesn't work.
Can I
If
try
we're
explaining it?
number one,
For a
the
second?
analogy of a straight highway is incorrect because the sun is making circles. So the sun is turning, and that's why I showed you the road. That's why I showed you this. The highway is turning, and all the cars that are going on the highway are turning right. But
Just think of the
somehow,
highway as latitude lines. The highway lines are latitude lines. Just think of it that way.
yes. So here you have the illustration from Brian, which confirms my position. The sun is in the north right now, doing circles, and yet I see it set right to left, even in the middle of winter.
That's still right
like
to left.
right now.
That's still right to left. But what you don't see
But
is
it's
see
in the
it going
north.
around you. You don't see
Left
it. You
to
don't see
right.
it curving around you.
Yeah, that's expected.
No, it's not.
I just don't think he gets it, Gio.
Because you're wrong. I do get it.
You're
Your
wrong.
explanation is just wrong. You
Well-
don't get why it's wrong. That's the problem.
Guys, imagine you're like 10 feet apart and you're both facing exactly, you're right side to side, you're facing the right way. So you pick a direction, that's where we're both facing. Now the sun goes over your head right to left, but for the other guy, it went over his head left to right.
Yeah, but we're
Is
not
that-
actually talking about that. We're talking about when the sun is setting, like the descent angle of the sun. So not how it arcs over you, but how it's at like when it's actually setting.
Correct.
Let me
But
try this.
it would still go right to left for one guy and left
It's
to
probably
right.
just me, but I can't hear anything at all that MXXD is saying.
All right, you
Watching
might have
the
it turned
presentation,
down.
but I can't hear
You just
anything.
All right,
interrupted
you probably
Captain
have his
Deadpool.
volume turned down. You have his volume turned down, probably. Captain Deadpool was speaking, though. I don't know if you could hear
My
him.
audio.
Yeah, Andrew, it
So-
might be you.
So
he
just
can't
one
hear.
more time. You're both facing the same direction. One guy has the sun go over him left to right. The other guy has the sun go over him right to left.
Yeah. One guy. Okay. Where are you two guys?
Montevideo,
Well, hold on,
Uruguay, and Tallahassee,
All right.
California.
Before
All right.
before
So
we
one.
get to before we get to like that part, hold on. Just that alone, I think this is where the miscommunication is happening.
There,
Just that alone, that sounds weird, right? That doesn't make sense.
no, it makes sense to me because it's what happens in reality.
I know. I'm saying that because I think they're thinking of this with the highway thing, but what we're saying is it's still for one person left to right, and the other person it is right to left.
First of all,
Exactly.
Max, why are you presenting this? Whoever's defending the dual pole needs to be presenting this. Why are you like burdening this?
Because this is what happens on the globe. This is what happens in reality. The dual pole has nothing to do with me. I'm not arguing for a dual pole.
It was brought up because we're talking about this subtlety of what I call the descent angle of the sun, meaning when it's setting, just like Max's videos he showed, you get this right to left or left to right kind of angle at which the sun goes to the horizon and sets. So we were talking about that. And and then using the kind of analogy of the highway and all this, and then he then brought up the AE map and said, well, if it's always doing this clockwise circle, and then that's why I was talking about the actual azimuth angle, northwest, northeast, where the sun is actually setting in terms of its actual heading, that's what changes. And then someone mentioned that that's not an issue, because I was saying if he wants to debate someone on the AE for that, then they would have to assert that, or because that was the point he was saying. So I'm not saying he was straw manning, but I'm saying somebody would have to be asserting that in this argument. And then someone mentioned the dual pole and how that resolves that particular issue, because the dual pole does have a symmetric sun path in the north and in the south. And just to finalize what I'm saying, I'm going to post an image in the chat.
The problem on the dual pole is still the same. Because you either have the sun doing the arc in the north or the sun doing the arc in the south. It's never at both places at the same time. So it's still the same.
Well, let me.
And this happens all year long for every sunset. It doesn't matter whether it's summer, winter, or whatever. It always happens.
I gotcha.
The sun will be higher or lower in the sky due to the season, but this thing always happens. The sun sets right to left for me every single day of the year.
Right. Well, I just I was going to post this image as the last part of what I was saying, because this shows the path of the sun within your azimuthal grid on different times of the year in the north and south. And somebody, I didn't make this, but somebody said evidence for the dual pole path of the sun is everywhere. You just have to know where to look. Somebody, I guess Earth is a plane is who made that, because it says at Earth is a plane. So that the thing is, when the dual pole was brought up, it's brought up that it does have this symmetrical northern and southern sun path. And so I'm just saying that's what it was linked back to originally. But like I said, there's two things going on. There's the azimuthal rising and setting point of the sun, and then there's the perspective effect of the descent angle right to left. So that's, whether you agree or not, that's fine. But to me, that's exactly what's expected on a planar surface with this dual path of the sun throughout the year, just like the stars.
Can I ask a quick question?
No, the problem is still the
Can you
same.
contend
That's
with
absolutely
the
not true.
absolute differences of, for one person it's going left to right and the other person it's right to left?
Can you repeat that?
I was asking Gio if he can
Oh, okay.
contend with the fact that for one person it is 100% going from their left to their right, and the other person it is doing the complete opposite.
At the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, we've talked about this a million times. I was showing
You
it on
know-
Stellarium last time. He just showed it on some, looks like video. I showed it on
Yeah.
Stellarium. I'm very, very aware of what we're talking about. I'm referring to it as the descent angle of the sun. I don't know if
Yeah,
descent
that's fine.
is an official term, but it's
I
actually,
know, but
That's fine.
what
A
I'm
proper
saying is-
analogy would be you're looking at a wall and you see an arrow. For me, the arrow goes from the top right to the bottom left, and for you, the arrow goes from the top left to the bottom right. The only way that you can make that work at the same time is if you make the arrow, say, from the top left to the bottom right, and you flip me upside down, and now you don't have to invoke any weirdness.
Which is exactly what the globe is.
So-
Your antipole.
Yep.
So, Gio, does that make sense? Does that like?
Maybe we can illustrate it this way. You have two hallways that share a central wall. One person is in the right hallway, another person is in the left hallway. The person in the left hallway is going to see that central wall always go from his right-hand side in his field of vision to the center point, meaning it's moving right to left in his field of vision. The person that's right next to him on the other side of the wall in another corridor is going to see that same central wall in his field of vision always go from the left-hand side to the right-hand side. Same wall, straight wall, two
See,
different corridors.
It has nothing to do with like the big highway, and it doesn't look like it is.
What I just said is that an incorrect statement.
yeah,
Yes.
it's a good analogy.
No. I wasn't saying to you. I was
Wrong,
talking to
Deadpool.
Gio. I was talking to Gio.
But you understand what he's saying. I'm gonna post an image in a second, but you understand what he's saying with the just basic perspective, because everything converges to your center point. So if you have a road or something off to your right, it's gonna look like it's going right to left because it's converging to your center
Okay.
point. And then let me just say this too. So if you can look in the chat right now, I'm gonna post these two images. So this is how we see is the thing. So whatever you think the Earth is or isn't, it's a whole nother. But I'm just saying, like you see in an azimuthal grid around you. So that one I just posted, that shows what it looks like in the south. So you see that dude there, and it says south to the left. That's the way the sun arcs over you. It rises, off to your, well, in that time of year, anyways. You see how it says June 21st, March, and December. Although I had the AI flip that image, so it's actually probably showing the northern. But let me just post.
Yeah, that's the north just flip because December for me is the highest and not the
Yeah.
lowest.
Right. So the labeling is wrong, but the actual geometry is fine for the position, but the labeling is wrong. And then I posted the second one. That's for the guy in the north looking south. So you get the left to right, right to left of how the sun arcs. But the different times of year is what denotes, like I said, the azimuth. See how I circled those red circles? That shows where the sun sets on the horizon. That is what the difference of the time of year does. But the general arcing is the same throughout the year. That's why we see the sun every day. It's just a little higher in the sky or it's a little lower in the sky. Right to left to right is consistent, but The difference of how it moves between the actual lines of latitude throughout the year are the red circles. That is what depends on that, which is what I kept calling the azimuthal horizontal angle. That's what changes throughout the year. The general arc of it, left to right, right to left, is the same all the time because we see the sun arcing in that fashion, respectively, in the north and south.
Yes, but that's a demonstration of that we're on a globe.
That's exactly what the globe shows.
May I have just a quick
Geo, they're
question
not going to get it. I'm going to go to bed.
Napalm and Geo? I don't know. Napalm, would you be interested if FTFE came back? And also Geo, do you want to poll the room to see if people would be down for a 1v1? If they,
I
if it was
literally
okay
just
with
said
you?
I was going to bed right before you spoke.
Oh, you're going to bed? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
ICSpin drew
Can I
a
ask you
demonstration.
one thing, Gio, just for 1 second?
Another time.
ICSpin made a demonstration of this. I'll put it, and I need to go open the bathroom tap to the cat because he's thirsty. He's standing on the bathroom sink. I'll
I
be
was
back.
saying that perhaps FTFE and Napalm can complete that conversation another time. But if others
it.
want to get
I'll
into,
let
I
him
know
know. Thank you.
there's been heated, yeah. But Captain Deadpool said he wanted to ask me something, and I'm just when I said another time, I was talking about Napalm and FTFE, but because you said you want to ask a question, so go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I just genuinely wanted to know before you go, how do you make a sunset work on flat Earth?
I don't have to make it work; it just works.
Okay,
the dawn of
how?
time. It is a slightly different topic, but that's all right. You want to go just to the general how the sun
Yeah, I
sets?
just wanted literally just a quick question. I just wanted to know how you would make how that works on, let's say, the flat Earth model.
Okay, well, what aspect of it? Like,
So in my worldview, so if the Earth were flat, the sun would never actually set. It would never go below the horizon. It would just, get further away and get smaller, maybe.
okay, well, so what I would say is that if you were on an infinite plane that was literally infinite and there was no atmosphere, no occlusion, nothing, just a perfect infinite plane, then, and if you could see forever, let's say you had God mode, with just those geometries, with just those basic things, I agree with you. The sun would never set. Nothing would ever obscure bottom up. And what it would do, the sun would go off in the distance. It would, I mean, if it was a physical object, it would get smaller and smaller. If it was abiding by that, if it was a physical object. If it's not, then it may not change angular size. Like a rainbow doesn't change angular size, for example, with distance change. So there are things in this world that don't do that. But nonetheless, the whole angular size change is a topic in and of itself. But without going completely into that, just to say what I'm saying, that if it was an infinite plane, no atmosphere, God view, then yeah, it would never set. Nothing would ever obscure from the bottom over a planar surface, etc. And you'd be able to see the sun into infinity until the sun burnt out or whatever. But the thing is, that's not the case of the actual Earth. Like on the Earth, we have a very limited distance of ground that we can see, especially if you're only 6 feet off the ground, you might only see a few miles. If you're higher up, you might see further. But even, I mean, the world's longest distance photography is like around 300 miles. So, it's not like we're getting much past that. Now, if you go on an airplane, some claim that you can get, 1,500 and higher and longer, but you're always going to see a limited distance. Even if we go 1,500, that's very far. But if we go 300, the world record, and then if you go down to 5 to 10 miles. So there's always a limit of the ground because of a lot of factors as to why you can't see further of the ground. Like the ground layer itself, you're not going to be able to see all of the ground for thousands of miles if you're only 6 feet off the ground. You're going to see only a few miles. So, and you have atmosphere and refraction, and you have, atmospheric occlusion as well, which is going to limit what you're going to be able to see. So on a planar surface, there's two things that make up the horizon, the ground and the sky. And the ground, if it's only 3 miles on that day, that's it. That's it for the ground. Everything else is sky. And then if you have an object in that sky, it is going to continue going above the Earth, and optically, it is going to begin to everything is converging to your convergence point. So everything is going to converge at the horizon due to perspective, and then that sun, when it reaches the ratio of the where it is and how much you can see of the ground and etc., it is going to visibly intersect with the ground as it's moving away from you across the plane. And the reason it's intersecting with the ground is because we don't have the God vision, we don't have the infinite atmosphere, no atmosphere, but we actually have a limited ground layer in which that is going to optically occlude.
Wow. Okay, that was a lot of words. All right. Well, I thank you for explaining that. I didn't get the answer of how it sets though, but whatever. Okay. Thank you.
Well, yeah, it sets because you have a limited distance on the ground that you can see, and the horizon is made up of the ground and the sky. So just like an airplane that's going away from you, it's going to look like it's dropping, like it looks like it's coming down, even though it's not actually coming down in altitude. It's staying at the same height. So you agree that perspective, everything will converge and look like it's lowering as it goes away from you?
An airplane also
Well,
gets
that's
smaller.
hold on. That's
Because-
not what perspective is, though. Perspective is a very specific thing. Perspective is when you look at something and then and then you move further away from it and it gets smaller. That's perspective.
Things
Yeah, but
work differently on different models. Let's not mix the two.
Well, that's one aspect of perspective, but in terms of how things look to you. But for example,
No,
like
no, no, no.
if you can,
Oh, sorry.
if you can look if you can look in the chat, would you agree that in a hallway, the ceiling looks like it's ramping down, like in that picture I just posted, even though we know the ceiling is not lowering in altitude. We know it's not 3 feet off the ground. It's still 15 feet or whatever. So you agree that the lights in the ceiling are going to look like they're dropping towards the horizon due to perspective, right? Like
Look at
street
the
lamps.
lights on the side wall; they're not ramping down.
Yeah, but hold on. If you took that hallway, now aim it at the sky.
Like this one here that shows the lights that look like they're dropping, because the explanation for the sunset has to do with this dropping effect of what the sun would do, even though it doesn't mean that's actually coming down in altitude, it's just going away from you. That's what I'm referring to, this perspective matrix of the lights on the ceiling looking like they're going down. And then the limit of the ground layer is what's key, because if you could see forever, I agree, you wouldn't ever have a sunset on a planar surface, but you don't see forever. That's why I was saying you can only see like 3 miles of the ground, maybe 10 miles. And that's the whole point, because at 10 miles, there's no more ground. That's it. It's like if that hallway was only 10 miles long, and if the lights kept going beyond 10 miles, you're going to get an intersection point optically of that object, and it will appear as though it's occluding visually from the bottom up over a planar surface, and this can be replicated as well. So that's the main explanation. I mean, I know it's a lot of words. I'm sorry, but
All I'm saying, no, all I'm saying is perspective, like, and so maybe you could have like some proprietary definition, but what it's mainly used in science as is things get smaller the further away you are. Has nothing to do with like things coming to the horizon, like nothing to do with that.
And also, it
there's
never
different
drops below your eye
there's
level,
different
right?
aspects of perspective. You're pointing at one of them, which is how things change angular size in a physical and then trigonometry. That's one aspect of it. But there's other aspects of perspective, like when you see like the train tracks and when you're looking down them and it looks like they're converging, but we know they're not actually converging. That is what's related to the perspective grid and how things appear over distance when it comes to those angles. So that's what I'm referring to, that component of perspective, as to how, just like in like artwork, when you learn how to draw like a 3D environment and you have to incorporate that.
The issue is though that this blends into the distance, right? Like it doesn't, those lights, for example, like imagine those lights were the sun, they converge to a point in the middle, which is your eye level. So
And they're getting
Right.
smaller.
And that's where the
Right,
sunset happens.
And they're
Well, the
getting
sun-
smaller, those lights.
yeah, they are getting smaller, and the sun doesn't fade into obscurity. It has a clear, crisp, like what you're showing, even this one, and I think the other one was a better example, honestly. But it shows the lights just fading out of view because they're too far away. Like you can't make them out. The resolution is it's beyond your ability to resolve at that point.
Yeah,
the
but
sun, we can see it's at.
any analogy could break down to some
Yeah.
extent. But I mean, if he was asking about sunsets, it could try. I mean, I was trying to answer it in as quickly in like one go, but obviously it's a multi-level topic, because the first thing is why it sets or how it sets in terms of a planar surface and all of that. So that's why I was just addressing the perspective, the limited ground distance, the way that the optics work on that level. Now, if you're talking about the angular size, that's a slightly different topic. And also what you're talking about it fading out, because the thing is, like, there's a ratio involved too. Like the lights on a ceiling, there's a certain ratio of distance and so on. Whereas the sun is obviously unlike anything else that we have access to. It's much different. It's much more grand than, lights in a hallway. So there's the ratios involved of the distances, the size of it, and you get a much more dramatic cutting off effect because of the more profound limited distance on the ground and the much more expansive sky above. But you can still replicate that effect on small scales if you get the ratios right.
Can I try something? This will see if they understand, or they probably do, or maybe they don't. But if we're standing there and we're giant, whatever, we're small, we're standing on the equator and we're looking straight west. This is kind of for Mac, but whoever else. And now, like I've used this before, but this is different. So we got 3 planes coming from behind us. One is going to fly from straight behind us and fly right over our head off into the distance in a straight line. In fact, they're all in straight lines, but one of them's a few miles to the right, and it comes from behind and it flies off into the distance in a straight line. And the one to the left of us is a few miles left, and we'll say south, and it comes from behind us. So they're all 3 about, let's just say they're 10 miles apart each. One's right over our head, flies off in the distance. Okay. So the plane to the right of us is going to appear to go from right to left as it gets further away. And the
No.
plane to the left, wait, let me finish because this ain't even my main point. What do you mean, no? I mean, this ain't the part to argue. Okay. But the plane that's on our left, like 10 miles to the left and going straight, it's going to appear to go from left to right. It's going to appear to get lower, and it's going to appear to go left to right. It's going to set. So simultaneously, these planes, but here's the thing. So what would I have to do to get these planes to maintain a parallel looking line? So here's what I would have to do. The only way that they would work to where they looked like they were flying parallel, because obviously they would look to be converging. So to make them appear to be flying away parallel, they would have to circle off to the right and to the left. They would have to simultaneously. The one on the left would have to it would have to circle off to the left, and the one on the right would have to circle off to the right to appear to be going parallel with each other, like train tracks. I mean, this is really simple shit if y'all get that.
Yeah,
But
except
This
it
is the
doesn't work.
problem. This is the problem with the left to right thing, the appearing to go from left to right. I get what you're saying, but you're saying they'll meet. Let me rephrase. They'll appear to meet in the middle.
The problem with this analogy is that there's not
Hold
3
on.
planes. There's 1 plane.
Oh wait, let him answer.
They
Let him
kept-
answer. What's up, Brian?
Well,
by
yeah,
the
if
way?
they kept going, hey, how you doing, man? If they kept going straight, yeah, they would appear to converge, right? And they would also appear to
They
set.
would, they would appear to converge in the middle, right? So the problem is, I get what you're saying, that it appears to go from left to right because of that, that angle. I get that. But what I'm saying is, it will never actually cross over that middle to go all the way to your
Agreed.
right. Will
Agreed.
it?
So now there's that. So yeah, no, agreed. So now instead of saying there's 3 jets, say there's 3 observers. So now there's only one. Now you got an observer on the left instead of a plane, and then you got an observer on the right. Same concept, you see. So now, and thank you for following me though. So
No.
now you see, instead of a jet being 3 jets, now you got 3 observers. So same shit, left to right to left, simultaneously. Thank you.
No, that doesn't work.
Hang on. Let's just
You still don't
step
get
by
it, dude.
step.
Oh, wait,
Just give me a second. If going back to the first thing, right? So we have the converging things. What I'm saying is, because it will never cross over from the left all the way to the other side to the right, and it always will meet in the middle. This is actually the reason why this reason doesn't
Has to
work
work.
for sunset.
That's why it has to
Because
work. You just
because
described it backwards,
sunsets
bro.
because sunsets, they don't appear to do anything. They actually go all the way from the left to all the way to the right. They don't meet in the middle. They literally go from one end to the other end.
When
That's
they're
why
setting,
I'm
they
saying it doesn't
barely
work.
move. When they're setting, they barely move left to right. I mean, I'm willing to look close enough to see
Are
that.
you
Look,
literally
unless
saying
hey,
when
hold
they're
on.
setting
No, if
minute
you're
by
way in
minute?
the north, hold on. If you're way in the north or way in the south, wait a minute. If I'm at the equator and the sun is over Cancer, what does it appear to do when it sets? Just to see if you understand this at all. If the sun's
What is
over
it?
tropical Cancer and it's setting, and I'm standing at the equator, what's the sun appear to do?
At the equator, it doesn't arc.
Are you saying? Hold on. Are you
Nope,
saying
wrong.
that? Are you saying that it does not appear to go below the Earth?
I'm asking you, what does it appear to do completely? Like, let's say the last 3 degrees. What's it appear to do? Obviously,
No,
what
I'm
else would
I'm
it do?
asking you. You're asking when it's setting. Are you saying that it doesn't appear to go below the horizon, like below the Earth?
What?
What I'm asking you is that if I'm standing at the equator and the sun is over Cancer, okay, we'll call it the equinox, okay, or the solstice, I mean, and the sun's setting, let's say last 5 degrees, what's it appear to do? Not up and down, but say horizontally, right to left. What's it appear to do? If I'm at the equator and the sun's over Cancer,
You're facing west, right?
yeah. Correct.
Come on, Captain. This is an easy one.
He
You're
said it
saying
wrong.
it
Brian, you
appears
said it wrong, by the way.
directly overhead.
I'm
Is
not
that
saying
what your
anything.
point is?
I'm asking you. I'm not making a
It
claim. I'm
appears
asking
to
you what
squeeze from the
appear to
top
do.
and the bottom, not the right and left, like you were saying. And that's because of refraction. It's an effect that's predicted by the globe. What's your point?
My question is, I didn't make a claim. My question again: what's the sun appear to do?
I answered your
Horizontally,
question.
right to left.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm just not sure what aspect. Are you saying in
I'm not
size?
asking you.
What?
You. That's who I'm asking. What's your name? I'm sorry, man.
No. It's fine. I'm just saying, in what aspect? Are you saying in size, in the shape,
Right.
in the right to left thing? Like, what do we?
Yeah, right to left. Horizontally, right to left. Yeah.
If you're
What's
on
it
the
appear to do?
equator, you're facing west, right? And the sun is traveling over the Tropic of Cancer, correct, Brian?
Exactly. And it's setting, obviously. We all agree it's setting. As it sets, what's it do left to right?
Arcs to the right.
I'm sorry, what?
Sorry.
It appears to arc to the right. If you're standing at the
No.
equator and you're facing west, and then the sun is at the Tropic of Cancer.
What do you
I
mean
disagree.
arcs to the right?
If
Yeah,
it's
see,
at the, if
Brian,
he's talking about when it's
he's
on
talking
the,
about it
when you're on the
squeezing,
equator.
where it looks like a football, and that's from that's from top to bottom, Brian. It's not from left.
I'm not
It's not
talking
from
about
left
top
to
to
right.
bottom.
So
I'm
what are you
talking about left
talking
to
about
right.
then? If it's not squeezing,
So,
what are you talking about?
I'm just seeing who knows, who's willing to make a guess. You know?
No,
I
I'm
made
I'm
it.
literally.
going to tell you what it does.
I want to answer your question. I just don't even know what. I'm not sure what you're asking. Then.
Robert wants to answer. Go ahead,
His
Robert.
question
I'm
is.
trying to
Explain it to
answer.
him.
If I can.
Go
Can
ahead,
I
Robert.
answer?
My bad.
Are you talking about only on the June solstice?
Summer solstice, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. If you're facing west on the equator, it's going to go down to your right, towards the north.
Okay.
But hold on. That's only on the June solstice,
Okay, but so what?
not all the time.
He's not saying all the time. He's just
Okay.
making the hypothetical to see where everyone's
Okay.
mind is at. That's all he's doing.
Right.
But what does that?
But
What
that's
does
on
that
the
change?
equator.
Like, what did that? What does that have to do with anything?
It doesn't change
So,
anything. It's just
It's okay.
Because
So
at the same time,
hold
during
on.
that same situation, I'm still seeing it go right to left.
Exactly.
correct. And
I
if you
don't.
go south,
Exactly. Hold on. So hold on.
and then if you go down to max, it goes the other way.
You guys, let
This is
Brian
this
elaborate.
showing y'all. Yeah. This showing they don't understand it. So they think if I'm on the equator, it appears to go right to left. Okay. What if I'm in the northern hemisphere? You'd say it still appears to go right to left. But then if I'm in the southern hemisphere,
What?
it appears to go right to left or
No,
opposite.
No.
Okay. Not
What are
you,
you
Max.
talking about?
You said it.
No,
If I'm
no.
standing, oh man, if I'm
it
standing on
goes
the
right to
equator,
left for me always.
It
That's the
doesn't
thing.
appear. But that's what I'm saying. It doesn't appear to do anything.
Yes.
It literally goes from the right to the left.
Max, what happens if I'm standing on the equator? What's it appear to do?
Oh my God! I just answered.
Depends on the time of the year. But I'm not on the equator. I'm in the south.
June solstice.
I just answered your question.
I'm asking Max.
What?
In
How
June,
does
yeah,
that-
it goes to the right because it follows the tropic in the north.
So you think the sun curves off to the right if I'm standing on
Yes,
the
but that very same day, I will look at the sun, it will be lower in my sky, and it will still be going
To the left.
Right to left.
to the left. Yes, right to left. In the north, it goes left to right.
Yeah, so I'm asking about what it looks like. So you say it appears to veer off to the right if I'm standing on the equator.
Left to right in the north, right to left in the south, always, no matter
Oh,
what.
on the equator,
Right. That's my point.
on the equator, only on the June solstice does it go to the right. Other than that, it's straight over your head.
Brian, how
What
the
about
hell
the
is
day
that your point, though? Like,
I'm
you
not
said that
saying
was your
That has
point
nothing to do with. That has nothing to do with what Max is talking about.
Yeah,
Max is in the
that's
south.
why I was so confused. I'm not sure what you were even
It's a
asking. Like, what?
It's a non sequitur gotcha question.
It's
I don't even
hilarious.
know. Gotcha. It's actually a non sequitur.
Well, Brian,
Hold on.
the video that I'm sharing is actually from the winter because the sun is super low in the sky.
Wait. What's the argument being
Yeah.
made?
Right. I haven't even made one yet. This is what's hilarious, dude. I'm just questioning their answers out loud and watching them blow up against each other, dude. So,
No.
We are all answering the same thing.
have I denied anything? I've repeated your claim and said, so you think this and you think that. Okay, so now.
Okay, so what's your point, dude? Get
Okay.
to your point.
Make it. Give him a chance.
My point is this. Okay, so if I'm standing on the equator and it's the summer solstice, I got one more question, dude. Because what if it's a week before the summer solstice? What if it's
Oh my God.
June? No, I got to know this. June 14th. You said only on the solstice does it appear to curve off to the right if I'm standing on the equator. Okay, so now if it's a week before the solstice, it's June 14th, and I'm standing on the equator. So you're saying that it doesn't appear to veer off to the right then? It's an important question.
When you're on the equator, the angle that it leans from left to right will be more pronounced at June. And if you make the time go backwards, then it straightens out until it goes like straight, and then it leans to the other side.
Can I answer his question, please?
Yeah.
Okay. That 1 week before is a joke, okay? Because the sun's declination doesn't move fast. It's a very slowly change. So 1 week before is going to be almost identical to the solstice, exact day of the solstice. So I don't understand what your point is.
Okay, I didn't want to have to do this, but you confused me with that question. So what about dead in between? What about a month and a half in between what about a month and a half in between equinox and solstice? So right in between. What's it
What is
appear
your
to do?
point?
Just answer the question. I'll make my point. You confuse me
Literally,
with
what does this have to do with going from the right to the left or from the left to the right? This has nothing to do with that.
The sun goes from when you're standing in the equator, okay? It goes from straight over your head and then to the solstice. It gradually starts going to the right. It's a very slow process, but it has nothing to do with it has nothing to do with what Max is talking about.
What's it do the last 5 degrees? Like when it's setting. That's what I've been asking.
This guy doesn't fucking listen.
Bro, what are you talking about? It comes from overhead and veers off to the right. We're talking about the last 5 degrees. What's it do when it's setting?
Just making a search, if I may, Brian, would you make an assertion so that people can argue your point? It's like you're doing the Hippocratic method with like 7 people.
Yeah, none of them have been to SunCalc. None of them if they do right now, they'd see what they're saying is ridiculous. Still trying to act like they meant something else.
Oh no, you don't want to bring up SunCalc. You do not want to bring up SunCalc because SunCalc agrees with me and not you. Here we go. Boom.
Okay,
refuted.
But no, I understand what this guy's trying to do. It's very tricky, but it takes about 3 months, dude, for the sun to start going from directly overhead to arcing right. It's a 3-month process, okay? But like I said, it has absolutely nothing to do, even if it's going to the right, Max still sees it going to the left. So it's the stupidest thing you're trying to do. It doesn't make any sense what your point is.
And SunCalc agrees with me and not you, Brian.
Max, can you talk about what you posted here so that the people in the room can wrap their minds around it?
We tried to film this. We tried to live stream this with ICSpin, but I got screwed over by a huge cloud shelf that wouldn't let me see the sun. So we're going to try it again in September. So this was March the 20th, and his sunset is behind my sunset 1 hour. So I went out into the water to the same place that I showed you the video from Uruguay. I went to that same beach and I tried to stream the sunset. And ICSpin was in Tallahassee, Florida, looking west over the water. And for him, the sun was going left to right. And for me, it goes right to left at the same time.
That's the only way it could work in reality, flat or globe. I mean,
that is what happens in reality. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Not flat.
Okay, why don't one of y'all?
Sorry, go ahead, Brian.
No, I would just rather respond to one of them because they're jumbling up confusion and dodging shit. Okay.
No, you're confused because you can't deal with the reality that this is what happens in reality. In reality, the sun.
You don't even know what my claim is. What's my claim?
You haven't made a claim. I'm making the claim here.
Then how am I wrong? Then how am I wrong if I haven't made a claim?
You did make a claim. You said it happens in reality on the flat Earth and the globe, and it does not happen.
Okay, do you know why? Do you know why I claim that? You don't know why because you won't listen. Okay. Now, once again, just you. Okay, it's going to be either Max or you, not both of y'all.
Me.
Okay.
Go.
Spit it out.
No, one of y'all. Okay, Max or you. One of y'all.
Me. Go.
Max wants to do it.
Go.
Okay, Max. Okay, the other guy go on mute. Okay, Max. Did you hear the part about the airplane? I got.
Yeah, there's one airplane. There's not 2 airplanes. There's not 3 airplanes. There's one airplane.
Okay.
The airplane is for ICSpin would be veering to the right, and for me it would be veering to the left. The only way that can happen is if one of those people is upside down. Yes.
Oh, really?
At the same time.
I just explained it on a plane. It has to work like that. Yes. Simultaneously, if I'm on a plane, okay, and you got 3 planes, you're one observer.
One plane. No. One plane.
Hey,
hold on, guys.
Mute the other guy, please.
No. One plane.
Wait,
I don't even need to listen to 3 planes because there's one plane. The plane is the sun. There's one plane.
Okay, Max,
If
relax.
we're gonna do this honest,
I will
yeah.
not listen to 3 plane explanations because there's not 3 suns. There's one sun.
He literally said one
Finger and
plane.
ears, right? So we
All right,
can't
you
talk
guys,
about.
let's just reset, you guys, and we just have to go one at a time, like a game of tennis, like a tennis match. It's got to go back and forth. Sometimes
Sure,
we have
I will hear an explanation for one plane.
Okay,
All
well,
right,
hold on.
One
Max.
sun.
All right,
Max,
let's
hold
just
on. Brian,
chill.
go ahead
So-
and make your point completely, right? Like, actually make your
Okay.
argument.
Fair enough.
So that
Fair
way
enough.
there is a response. Go ahead.
All right, I'm trying to see. Okay, so my point is this. Okay, when I put a guy on the right side of the equator, that sun in the middle, okay, is going to appear to go from left to right. The sun in the middle, okay. Now, if I put the guy on the left side, the sun is going to. Geo did a great job explaining this, but if I put a guy on the right side, the sun's going to appear to go from right to left simultaneously, dude. Okay, and if the Earth is a dual pole, then when it's on the equator, when the sun's on the equator, the circle is so big it appears to be going in a straight line anyway, whether you say Pac-Man or big giant circle. So we got a sun that's appearing to go straight, and that's the only way it could work on a dual pole model is simultaneously right to left and left to right. I showed it in my examples on screen. I did it from Australia. I did it from Uruguay, and he refuses to say 3 planes because he refuses to.
Because there's one sun.
You realize what you just said? You realize what you just said? You had 2 people looking at each other, essentially, right?
No, at a plane or
No, looking west.
Looking
looking away from each other. I don't care if they're looking away from each other or they're looking in opposite directions, correct?
No, they're both looking west. They're both looking west.
They're
The plane
both
comes
looking
from
west?
behind them. Yeah, the plane comes from behind them and passes one. It's to the left of one person and it's to the right of the other. The plane is going to appear to not only get lower, it's going to appear to go right to left to the guy on the left or the south. It's going to appear to go from left to right to the guy on the right or in the north and set simultaneously. Bam! Game over. Thank you for playing.
No, because
really not.
No, because the sun on the day that we did it, the sun is going on the equator on a straight line. I see the sun take the bottom yellow path right on the equator, and ICSpin in the north was seeing the sun taking the top yellow path right on the equator at the same time.
Yep.
The sun cannot be in 2 places and moving.
Welcome to flat
in
Earth,
2
bud.
different.
Welcome to flat Earth, Max.
Hey, wait. Hold on, guys.
That is not. You didn't refute anything. You're actually making my point.
Yeah, Max. Let me ask Brian something. Brian, so your argument is basically saying that the sun's path and the GP of the sun could work on the dual pole, on the flat Earth cosmology, or the globe Earth, right?
On any flat Earth model, yeah.
My question though, hold on, wait. My question though, if it is a dual pole, as you say, in your conception, right? Wouldn't that mean that there'd be 2 different GPs for the same sun?
No, not at all, man. And if they want to explain that, they'd have to say the sun is physically veering away from the equator. Do they claim that? No, they try to, but then you ask them a different question. They say no, it's appearing exactly the same as a star that's over the equator. Okay, but one's veering to the right in the north, and then one's veering to the left on the south. So what do you mean it's veering? Okay, it can't be veering and they're not getting further away from each other. So then they want to change their whole argument. But I say, welcome to flat Earth.
Change the argument,
now they
liar.
understand it.
Filthy liar.
Brian,
take a
look at.
Brian,
you've been told about this. How many times do you have to
Hold
tell
on
you
a
about
second.
this?
Hold on,
It's the way it
Brian. Do me a favor. I'm just going to show a very short animation that Max posted in chat earlier, and I think it will help show the point of what Max is trying to elucidate.
Fair enough. I'll look at it and tell me what you disagree with with the airplane scenario, please, so I'll know exactly what y'all are contending. With the airplane for the middle of us, with a guy on the right and a guy on the left. Tell me exactly which part you contend.
So pull up the live. Tell me when you have it open. It's literally a 14-second animation. I'm gonna let it play and then we can go over it right after. But I want you to just focus on Max.
He's in.
Okay, cool. When Max is down here in Uruguay, right, and this is on the flat Earth, this is on a globe, but it's just both models side by side. I want you to pay attention on the globe, the direction that the sun's going to be going on. This is, by the way, this is on the equinox. So we know that the sun is directly on the equator, like it is here, like it is here. And just notice the direction of travel on both different models as the sun starts to make its transit.
Yeah, if you
Okay.
eliminate perspective, I'm not going to make any argument, dude, because you got a God view here. We're talking
So
about
notice
perspective.
I
here,
was
I'm
just
trying to
well,
thinking. I was
explain it.
just thinking that, Brian. I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
well,
I respect what you're showing though.
okay.
It is
Yeah,
important. And can I just elucidate really briefly? So I often talk about if you put like dish soap in like a pan, like a frying pan, you put dish soap in it and you like mix it up to get a bunch of little bubbles. And then if you were to like move a light over the top of it, I'm not trying to say that that's exactly how we see or anything, but you'll see like from the perspective of being inside one of the bubbles, you'll see like the sun arcing on that bubble, making a certain type of arc. And I'm just using that as like a visual analogy. I know all analogies break down, so obviously, because I'm not suggesting there's an actual bubble of soap around us. But my point is that there's a difference between like what you would say the God mode, like how you're moving the thing above, like the pen light or whatever that you're moving above it. There's like the actual way that's tracking. And then if you go down into the bubble, there's a way you're seeing it in the bubble. And then lastly, Jeranism actually used to say an analogy, an idea. I don't know if he came up with it, but if you put a bunch of like those like beer cups, those like red beer cups that, the kegger cups, put all those like across a basketball court and put like a little, like an observer inside of them. So they're all seeing their own little region of the sky. And you could have some huge light going around, but they're all going to see it differently from their perspective. It's going to look, unique from their perspective, the way it's passing over, arcing and all that from their little cup. But the way it's actually moving above would be, like the God mode. So there's a difference between being like in the first person versus third person of how this looks.
Gio, where do you think I got this argument from?
Well, I mentioned Jeran in terms of like the red cups on a basketball court because I don't know whether he was just using that as an analogy. But it does seem to be that Jeran did not understand how the sun moved until recently, and I don't know what his takes are now. But
Argument. That the reason I asked is because this argument I got it exactly as I proposed it. I got it from Jeran.
Okay, so it works with the plane.
Yeah,
but not
because
the
he
sun.
just figured this out, and he's all like, "Yeah, it's like
Yes,
it's like
because
it's like
he figured out that this is what happens in reality. Yes.
Well, it's mind blowing. He didn't know that. So that's a whole nother topic. Why didn't he know this very basic thing about how the sun?
No,
sets?
he has explained it repeatedly that he had a mind block that wouldn't let him see evidence.
Okay, well then he
No, he
just
got hit in
didn't
the
know
head.
basic things about this realm. Yeah, he just didn't know basic things about it, and was maybe.
I mean, it's the same mind block that is preventing you from
Yeah.
acknowledging the strength of this argument.
He was maybe, if you could please not interrupt, is all right. But okay, but he was maybe just leaping onto ideas that other people had. If he didn't even have this basic of the sun moving, and are you just figuring it out too with him, or did you already know it?
No, I always knew it.
But you
It's
said
just
you
that
got-
for me, I
it
have never been in the north, so I had never seen the sun go the other way until I started seeing time-lapse videos of sunsets in the north.
But you
for
said
me, the sun always moves like this.
I got you, but you said you got the argument from him. What does that mean?
Yes.
You learned
The
it from him?
formalization of the argument.
So you
Because
didn't know it before
this
he had-
argument requires someone actually pay attention to the direction of the sunset in both hemispheres. And I had never done that because I had only seen with attention sunsets in the south.
Gio, they think the sun curves off to the right if they're standing on the equinox, bro. They do not understand. So if I kept going south, at what
It's
point
what
would
they
it straighten
think,
out?
Brian.
What point would it straight? Well, listen, don't interrupt. At what point would it start straightening out? Since it's going
For me,
left,
never.
Wait, since it's going left, all right. So what if I'm on the equator? But if I'm on the equator, it curves
I'm not
right,
on the
right?
equator.
See, the aha moments are going to hit you in a minute.
Why
so-
talk about it? Just pull up the fucking weird tech. Pull up the apps or whatever you call it, animations.
I'm just trying to get them to answer a simple question, and they
Why
just
do they always?
obfuscate
Someone's got to
everything
ask you a question all the time. You're always just
Hey, let me
begging
a-
someone for a question.
Hey,
Because
I
he
know
can't
you'll give me an
contend with
honest
the
answer.
argument.
Hold on. I know you'll give me an honest answer. So just answer me this, okay? Do you agree that if I'm standing on the equator,
Bro, I'm
okay,
not
no
open
matter
to
what-
questions right now, bro.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
barely
that's what
listening.
I thought.
You guys,
So
just
not
everybody
even you.
stop interrupting. Just don't interrupt at the minimum, dude. If someone's going, just let them go for their like 30 seconds, just please, because all this clipping is too much. If Gatebreaker doesn't want to
let me-
answer, I'll answer it, or someone else will. Just go ahead, Brian.
Yeah. So if he doesn't want to answer a simple question, dude, I try to answer all y'all. So if I'm standing on the equator and the sun is over Cancer, okay, and it goes straight ahead, they said that it curves off to the right if I'm standing at the equator. My question is at what point does it start curving off to the left? And to do that, it would also have to straighten out. So how far south would I have to go if I'm facing west to get the sun to straighten out? If I'm standing at the equator and it curves off to the right, at what point, what latitude, standing facing west, would it appear to go straight? Because Max swears that it always curves to the left, which I agree with that, but he's not understanding the full picture. So at what point,
Sure.
first off, do you agree that the sun appears to curve off to the right if I'm standing on the equator at
Only
summer solstice?
only during the solstice.
And a little bit,
Well, now
which is
that's the
important.
deal.
And it doesn't change my argument.
I'm
Because
standing at the equator.
while that
The
is
sun never
happening,
curves to the right.
Brian, real quick.
Dipshit.
What is your argument?
Because okay, dude.
excuse
listen, dude,
me?
I
What
see
is-
what he's saying.
What is your argument? I didn't hear it.
I see
My
what he's
argument is
saying.
none of them understand. They don't understand sun count.
No.
If I'm standing
I
at the
see- no,
equator,
no,
the
I
sun
see what he's saying.
Motherfucker,
straight
I
path.
literally posted the sun calc path of the sun, which agrees with me and not you.
Then answer this: at what point does it straighten out? Then, if it curves
What
off
do
to
you
the
mean
right,
straighten out? It never straighten
Well,
out for me.
okay,
Never.
well, for you, it curves to the left. So if it's curving to the right, okay, then where do I got to be? If you're in Uruguay, so at some point in between Uruguay and the equator, it's got to go straight. If it's curving left for you,
No, it
and
goes
right,
straight at the equator.
if the sun's over Cancer, it goes straight for you.
No.
Yeah, it goes straight
No,
to the equator.
well,
See, ding, ding,
no,
ding.
it only
gets it
goes
now.
straight at the equator. It goes
Right,
straight at the
exactly.
equator on the equinox.
The
And
equinox.
then
so
it
what-
moves a
okay,
little
stop.
bit to the right. A little bit.
Okay,
Then it goes
when does it
mid-
move to the right?
Between
Okay,
the
then it goes-
equinox and the solstice.
You guys.
So if I'm standing at the
mid-April,
equator,
May, it goes April,
stop, dude,
May.
stop,
it
dude,
gets-
stop. Let me
Oh
talk
my
to Max,
God.
man.
I'm
Let
answering
me
your
talk to Max.
question.
No, you're not. Okay, go ahead.
He is, actually.
The sun,
go ahead.
okay, on the equinox in March, okay, it's if you're on the equator, it's going straight. And then you go to April, it starts moving
So
drifting
not
to the
curving
right
to
a
the
little
right then, right?
bit.
Okay,
May,
go
it goes a little
sorry.
more to the right, and at
You
the
guys-
solstice, it reaches its peak of going to the right.
As it sets, it goes to the right, pal.
Yes, on the equator.
Brian,
Okay,
real
as
quick,
it sets, as the
Real
sun
quick, please.
sets, this is going to be a big aha moment if you just give me 1
God,
second.
what is this guy fucking doesn't listen?
No, it's not.
Yeah,
Go
it is.
ahead.
So, okay, so I want to make sure we're all on the same thing. It's going to be a giant aha moment. Okay,
No,
so
it's
as the
not.
sun-
Say it.
Not.
So y'all are claiming as the sun sets, the last 5 degrees, if the sun's over Cancer, it
What
curves
5
off to
degrees?
the right. It curves the last 5 degrees over the horizon, dude. Don't back out of the whole fucking argument.
What
Okay,
5
as it
degrees?
He
from
means the last
horizon-
portion before it goes below the horizon.
Oh, okay, go
Right. So y'all are all saying that no matter where I'm at, it curves off to the right.
No, in the south,
Thank you.
I also see it going right to left.
You don't need to
Thank
yell.
you. Thank
guys
you. So
stop.
what's it do if I'm on the equator?
I just answered you.
Oh my
You
On the
said going
god.
left to right. Okay, so now where does it go straight then? Because Max swears it's going from right to left for him and Uruguay. And
Always.
y'all all swear it's going from left to right at the equator. So where does it appear to go straight at then?
On the equinox,
on the
equator.
equinox, on the solstice.
No,
What are we talking? You're
Now
being
they don't
so
understand. No
scummy.
comprehend. No speaking English all of a sudden.
No, let
The
Max,
sun's
let me talk to this guy.
Pero,
The
gordo,
sun's
hijo de
being
puta,
better
¿quién
English
le
than
decís
you
que no
do.
habla inglés? La recalcada concha de tu madre. Hijo de un camión lleno de reputa.
Brian,
Gio,
Brian,
can I
listen.
moderate, bro?
He speaks better English
me-
than
let
you
me-
do, Brian. Shut up.
Yeah,
me-
you got. I know,
let-
dude.
Let me
Please,
talk
you've
to this
got-
guy for a
it's out of
minute.
control.
No, all right. Point of moderation.
Let me
okay?
talk to this guy,
We're
Brian,
going
for a
back.
minute.
We're
here.
going back and forth. Robert, please hold on 1 second.
Come
I
on,
just want to
Beasticles.
know. I just want to know, Max. You said my argument. What is your argument exactly? Could you state it? Your argument.
I literally showed it. Hold on, I'll do it again.
Oh, I saw it. The sun calc. But like, what are you saying?
Not the sun calc. The sun calc is the representation of what happens in reality. Give me 1 second. I have it already set up. I'll show it.
Okay, perfect. I want to know what his argument is because I want to know why Brian thinks that it.
Because they're conflicting. They're conflicting. See, they want to try and move the sun or move
Brian.
what it's doing.
I'm not trying to. I can't move the sun. The sun moves on its own.
I'm in.
So
I
this
can't
is
argue
what
with
I
both of y'all
see.
when y'all have 2 different arguments.
Shut up.
Okay?
This is what I see
Okay.
every single day of my life. The sun will be higher in the sky, lower in the sky, but no matter, whenever I look at the sun for me, which is the half image on the right, this is in my city, sunset in my city, and the sun sets while
stop
looking
rewinding.
west, right to left, always, no matter what. So
No
when
shit.
he's
There you
talking
go.
about, he's talking about the sun being in the Tropic of the North. This
time
is
is
the
that?
video of the sun in the Tropic of the North. This video is in winter because the sun is lower in the sky than it usually is.
Yo, it's lingering quite a bit.
It'd be
too.
higher for you. It'd be higher for you in the south, dumbass.
It's lower. It's winter.
And you're in the south.
Yeah, it would be lower. He's right. Max is right on that one, Brian. We talked.
If he's in Uruguay, the sun would be lower in our winter.
No,
I
in
think
my
so.
winter.
His
His
winter.
winter would be ours.
So now we got different winters. Now we have
No,
different.
correct. You have
Brian.
different
Yes, it's winter for me right now.
You guys,
6
you
months
guys-
Yeah,
apart for some
exactly,
reason.
exactly. Okay,
Let's
so
calm
in
down.
your winter, the sun's lower. I mean,
Yes.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Okay. Now listen to this. So at what point does the sun straighten out? Okay, so you're saying that
For
the
me,
equator-
never.
Stop interrupting.
doesn't.
Okay, for you, never. I agree. For you, never. I never contended that. Okay. Now, for me in the north, it always goes from left to
Left
right.
to right, like you see in the left
Now,
image I'm showing.
now, you're saying when I'm standing at the equator, it goes
We're
from
not
left to
talking about
right.
the equator.
And the solstice. Yes, we are. I never wasn't talking about the equator. I put the observer at the equator and never didn't move them. And I
Because you're
never
trying to
changed the
whisk
sun.
it away from the argument.
Stop. No, you're weaseling away because I never changed from the summer solstice ever. I never moved the observer away from the equator. So now you say if I'm standing on the equator again, you're saying it curves from left to right. So then where would I have to be standing to for the sun to appear to be going straight? Because at some point it would have to straighten out to start arcing to the left for
In
you, Max,
March.
because you said it.
No.
Where?
No.
No,
Because
hold on, Max. I know what
Doesn't
he's.
apply
I
to
understand.
anyone.
You guys.
I understand what he's trying to say. I
First of
understand
all-
what he's trying to say.
First of all,
Dude.
there's no argument being made on either side. You guys are just stating observable facts. Right? On the spring and fall.
Yeah, but he said
Hold on.
he
Hold on, Mike.
confused me when he said the winter. Sorry.
On the spring and fall equinox, if you're standing on the equator, it will appear to be going straight overhead.
Yes.
We all agree with that?
100%.
They're saying left to right. Now they're changing their
No!
No,
On an equinox.
Let's be good faith now.
Okay, equinox.
You guys
Fair enough.
all agree, right? On the spring and fall equinox, if you're standing on the equator, it will appear as the sun will be going overhead, right?
Yes.
Straight overhead. Yes.
Right. And I think we can all agree on that. And I don't.
We
So
do.
I mean, so I don't really understand what the contention is.
I don't
Because
either.
even when you're in the equator and it's going straight for someone in the equator, I will always see it going right to left, no matter what, at any time of the year. And at the same
Did anybody ever
time,
contend that though? Did anybody
and
ever
at the
contend
same
that?
time, someone in Florida will see the same sun that is going straight across the equator, will see it like in the left
to right.
video, left to right.
Disagreeing with
And that shows that the Earth is a globe.
No, like an airplane. Same thing as an airplane, right? Same thing as an airplane over a flat plane. Oh no, now it's just the sun, not an airplane, because you can't imagine perspective. And here's the thing: when you said y'all's winter, I was thinking if he's talking about his winter, he mentioned the sun over Cancer, or I thought he did, which would make it his winter. And if it was opposite, then that would make the sun higher in the sky. I understand the sun's lower in the sky, but my point is, here's my whole point. My point is they're both arguing two different things. Max understands that for him, nobody disagrees, Max, that if we're in the south, the sun appears to curve off to the left anytime.
Doesn't appear.
Anytime. So
It
now
doesn't appear.
let's move back to the argument. Okay.
You're going to tell me
It doesn't-
my argument?
You're saying so it doesn't. Wait, he's saying it doesn't appear to. So that means
It does.
if I'm in the north, I thought you said it doesn't. Okay, so yeah,
It
we
doesn't
all agree
appear
then.
to. It literally goes right to left.
Okay, so for
So
me,
it
goes,
moves in reality. It moves right to left for me always, no matter what.
So if it's moving for me literally from left to right, what's it doing? It's separating then, right? If you're saying it's literal, you're saying that it's literally separating then, right?
That's
Or is
why-
it apparent
that's
or is
the
it
whole
literal?
What do you mean by separating?
No, but that's the whole
If one
point.
thing's curving right and one thing's curving left, what are they doing?
It
They're
can't
getting
do
what?
the same.
Further
That's
away
the
from each other.
point.
That's the
No
point.
shit. No, so what are they doing?
You see, remember when you were calling that aha moment? Yeah,
Yeah,
that
it's
here
coming.
we had it. It one
It's
thing
coming.
moving in one way and two people standing in opposite sides of the earth see it moving differently because they're antipodal to each other. There we go.
Okay, so it's now it's back to apparent. So now it's not literal, right?
It is
Right,
literal.
now it's Oh, it is literal. So for me, the sun is literally going from left to right. For Max, it's literally going from
That's
right to
right.
left, not
Yes.
apparent.
Yes.
So
You know
now,
why?
if I'm hold on, if the sun's over the equator and it's going straight and it's appearing to go right to left for you and left to right for me, that means we're traveling off in the distance, getting further
But
away
you
from
want to
each
know
other
why?
with the sun going straight because it ain't, dummy.
Yeah,
wanna
that
know
does
why?
It
indicate.
is.
You guys, can we all chill? That does indicate that it's perspective, because for one person it looks a certain way, another person looks another way.
No.
That's a perspective type thing that people are seeing it from different positions.
We
No, really.
we went through this. Gio, I've explained to you in 3 different rebuttals of your example of why this is not a perspective issue. This is both looking at a wall and me seeing. I can hold on.
Well, it's perspective. It's even perspective on a globe model too, actually. So
On
No,
a
it's
globe, on a
it's
flat
not,
Earth,
Gio.
on a
That's
dual
the hang up,
pole,
dude. They don't understand it, dude.
all the
Yes.
all
So
of these
we're
are
looking
just
at a wall.
Hold on, wait.
I-
All these are just observations of the sun, right? If you're observing from Uruguay, you have a different perspective of the sun because of your latitude,
No.
right? Yes. Stop saying no, Robert, for no reason, please.
yeah, you
No
got to
reason.
really stop doing that, dude. Just please don't do that. It's
I
very
no one lets me
disruptive.
get a word in edgewise. It's frustrating.
Dude, just stop saying no for no reason. I'm correct on this one, and Max would agree. If you're at the southern latitude, you're looking at the sun. You're seeing the sun do appear to do different things than if you were at the north, right? Just like you did with ICSpin, right? He's in Florida. You're in
Yes.
Uruguay.
Mhm.
For ICSpin, it appears that the sun is going from left to right when it sets, and then for you, it's right to left. Yes, that is a perspective thing, though. You can't get away from that on
Yeah,
on
but
any model.
why? But
No,
why?
y'all
Why
swore it was
does it
literal.
happen?
No,
It happens
I just
because
argued that.
we're
You just swore it was
antipodal to each
literal.
other. That's the only way that this can happen.
No, it's not
You
the
Max,
only
can.
you
way.
swore it was literal for 5
It
minutes straight,
is.
interrupting me and being rude.
It is
You swore it
literal.
was literal. Oh my
But
god.
here,
Yes, because at the same time it's going like this for someone at the equator.
but Max, real quick though, if you say only, that's a claim. That's a big claim. I wouldn't say only.
Okay, demonstrate the geometry of how this can work on a flat Earth. I'll wait.
Yeah, an airplane, pal. An airplane going in between us, off into the distance. For me, is going to look like it's going from left to right, and for you, right to left. Are you fucking kidding me,
No,
dude?
false.
Even
Sorry.
if the Earth was shaped like a hot dog, it doesn't matter because you're just observing the sky. The sky is doing its own thing.
Not the sky, it's the sun.
This is simple shit, dude. This is simple shit, dude. That's why I said Jeran must have fell in his head, dude. He forgets simple shit, dude, that we can look up in the sky and see, and they want to argue it for no reason, dude. They won't accept they won't even hear the question. Their brain won't let them.
You
They
are
know that
wrong,
aha moment's coming.
Brian.
No, you are a simpleton, bro. You're not thinking, dude.
Do you want to take an IQ test?
No, let's
No,
not
no, but
do that.
you see, this is that you even said it. You said, "Oh, it's separating." Exactly the point.
Yeah.
So it's the person who doesn't
So
understand it.
is
I
it?
believe it's
Oh, wait, you said it's separating. I said
You
it was right
said it's
there.
separating, you filthy liar.
No, I
Well, if
was
I
quoting
may,
y'all, making sure I made damn good and clear. Y'all said it's separating. I said so. It's not just apparent. It's not perspective.
that's
Y'all said
wait.
no. It's separating. See
It is.
now, see what they're trying to do? They're trying to
No, no,
turn it
no, no,
around
no.
on me.
Let me,
This is what they
can I
do,
speak?
guys.
Can
Yeah,
I
but
speak,
this is
please?
okay.
Can
Go
I say
ahead, Robert.
something, please? Okay, thank you, Beasticles. I'm gonna come see you in Vegas soon. Anyways, when it cools down, it's too hot out there. Listen, it isn't apparent. It's what the sun is doing, and what the whole point of this conversation, what Max is trying to talk about, is that two people can't see the sun do two different things if you're on a flat Earth. The sun can
But we
only do
can an
one.
airplane, though, right? We can with an airplane,
sun,
though, but
whatever
not
it
the
is.
sun, right?
Airplane, sun, whatever it is, it can't do two different things at the same
Yes, it
time.
can. That's the only thing it can do. If I'm on the
Wait.
left side of the airplane, if
Can you
I'm on the left side of the
demonstrate?
airplane, yes,
Can you
dude, yes.
demonstrate
If I'm
your claim?
yeah. If I'm, you shrink me down onto a map,
Show it.
and
I need you to show
I'm looking
me.
west. I'm gonna go over it again, dude, and watch. He's gonna have to
Wait,
I
interrupt.
need you to
So
show it.
yeah, show
Brian,
Well, I
it,
was
dude. If you
talking and
can't
you
fix
interrupted me.
no, I
guys
didn't. I
gotta
waited
stop.
for you to finish, you lying motherfucker.
Yeah, let's
Oh,
just
you're
calm
so
down a bit.
triggered. I
Max,
love
Max,
it.
hey, stop.
Oh, I know.
Oh, I have to stop?
No.
if you
Both,
don't
no,
have
I don't
access to
like being
paint,
Brian,
just tell us, Brian.
Brian, don't get triggered by the banter. They always do the banter. It's fine, you guys. But just argument though that you just said, Robert, is incorrect. It can't.
It's not.
You're saying it can't happen on a flat Earth.
It can.
That's right.
What does observing the sky have to do with the shape of the ground?
No, we don't even need to
Because
go there.
when
We don't need
in
to go there.
order
Oh my
for
God.
something to be for the direction to be flipped like that, the only thing that can do that in geometry, in reality, is someone being antipodal to each other.
You see, y'all? See, he doesn't understand. Now, listen to me, Max, without interrupting. Okay, now, if I'm standing and I'm looking west, I'm looking directly west. You are standing parallel and looking west to me. We're looking parallel, right? A plane flies right in between us from behind us, right? It comes from behind us. We hear it coming. It goes right overhead off into the distance, right in between both of us. Okay, now you're on the left side. You're in the south. So what way is the plane? Because it's going to be appearing to drop for both of us, but what's it going to appear to be doing left to right wise for you?
Show
If
it.
it's right in between us. No, I'm asking you. See if you
Show it.
understand.
Show
What's
it.
it going to? What's
Show it.
I'm asking?
Show
What's it
it.
going to appear to? What I'm
Show
asking
the
a question.
demonstration.
What's it going
Demonstrate
to appear
it.
to do?
Show it.
Can I
I'm not.
can I
I'm
ask a
not making a
question?
claim right now.
This is a good faith
Show
question,
me.
Brian.
Okay,
Are you
you
in a
guys are
position?
reset.
Can
Oh,
I
go
ask
ahead,
real
Isaac.
quick,
Yeah,
Beasticles?
go
Yeah.
ahead. You go
Are
ahead.
you in a position? Are you in a position to pull up paint, or are you on your phone, or what? Like,
Show
Okay, how
it,
about
draw
this?
it, do whatever
Yeah,
you
I
can
already
to
did.
demonstrate your
All right.
claim.
Okay, I will. I can't believe, dude. You don't even have to take art class to understand this. If I'm on the left side, as I'm drawing it, okay, I'm look. If it's in between us, in the middle of us, and it goes straight off in the distance, me on the right side looking in the distance, it's gonna appear to be going from left to right. In other words, for me to accurately draw it, I'm gonna have to show it going down and going from left to right. Okay, for perspective to show a plane going straight in between us. For you, you're gonna have to show it, draw it going down and right to left. Okay, it's going straight. But
Agreed.
I mean, dude, they don't agree with this. They won't even
I don't
they won't
agree.
even
I
let
don't agree
themselves
at
hear the
all.
question
Wait, Max, you
because
did
you don't
agree earlier.
understand.
Hold on, wait. Max, you did agree earlier.
No.
Yeah,
Never.
yeah. If you're in the south, right, you're in Uruguay, you see the sun set from right to left. If
Mm-hmm.
you're
That's
in
not what he's
Florida,
saying.
if you're in, yeah, that's exactly what he's saying. If you're in,
No,
if
he's
you're in
talking about a
Florida,
plane.
it's the same principle.
No, because the plane is not flying over. The sun is never over my head in Uruguay.
They think you got to be. I think you got
What?
to be upside down to see this
Yeah.
shit, dude. This is
The sun,
unbelievable,
I'm
dude.
too far south for the sun to ever be directly above my head. I'm at 53 degrees south.
Wait, what do you mean? Wait, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah, Brian is talking
You
about
want
a plane that's
change the
flying
subject?
over my head. The sun is
No, I'm
never
not.
over my head.
I never
You
said
It's
over your
always
head.
at
You're
that. It's
changing the
always
subject.
the sun
You're
is
not honest,
never at
bro.
my zenith. I'm
You're not
way
honest,
below
bro.
the tropic.
I never once made that claim, and you know I didn't. You're not honest.
Sure, Brian.
The plane's in between us. I said that a million times. You're over to the south, and I'm to the north. I said to accurately draw it. For me, it's going to be going from left to right and setting. That's the only way to draw it. Okay.
Oh.
And for you to draw it, it's going to be going from left to right. See, they don't understand, guys. This
Because
is
you're
the
wrong.
You don't
Because that
understand.
doesn't
status.
You're
happen in
wrong.
reality.
Oh my God.
Show
So-
it. Show us the demonstration.
Are you talking about an airplane flying like on the equator, basically above?
No,
the
yeah,
equator?
yeah. Flying in between us, not on the equator. I'm getting them to visualize that, to put them there and think of the sun. They're 10 miles south of us. The plane is 5 miles away from me. Let's say the plane's at 0. I'm 5 miles to the north of the plane. They're 5 miles to the south of the plane. If a plane flies directly in between us, coming from behind, and flies off into the distance, we're going to see the plane. It's not flying over either one of our heads. Okay, we're watching it fly off in the distance till it sets over the horizon, which it always disappears a little before that. But either way, to draw that, we're gonna have to show it setting as it's getting further away. And me, if the plane's to my left, it's just what you said before, Gio. If the plane's to my left, I'm gonna have to draw it going from left to right toward the center of my vision. And for them, they're gonna have to draw it going from right to left. Okay, that's how it's gonna appear. We know it's going straight though, but to draw it because of perspective, it's gonna be going from left to right for one and right to left for the other simultaneously. And it's simple art shit. You know, even if you didn't take art class, you should be able to picture this in your head. So, but they'll move the sun to
You
over
should
his
be able to
head. And
demonstrate it then, right? In reality, like I demonstrated how the
somebody
sun
else
literally
explain
moves
this.
opposite with video.
Yeah, so we know the hang up now, guys. At least we see where their disconnect is. They don't understand perspective.
The
Gio
disconnect
tried.
is
The
Gio did a good
perspective
job.
doesn't save you
Oh,
on
Flerf
this.
perspective. I love Flerf
Perspective does not save you. What you're trying to use as a security blanket doesn't work.
Wait, it's not about that. I mean, you can't say that perspective has nothing to do with it because that's how celestial
Doesn't.
navigation works. is from your
This is
perspective.
not celestial navigation.
Celestial navigation does not care
Don't
about
conflate
perspective.
this.
Stop.
How do you guys not say it cares about perspective? Are you kidding me?
This
That's
is
how you
nothing
figure
to
out
do
where
with
you
only-
are.
The
Let's say
only
this. Let's say
this.
geometrical
Angle. What do you mean?
possibility to have a direction inversion in this way is if someone is antipodal to each other.
Oh my God.
Okay,
Okay, I'm
can
about to
I
draw it.
try
Dude.
to?
I'm about to draw it. Yeah, go ahead. I'll draw it.
Yeah,
This
I've
thing
been
is
asking you to
ridiculous.
draw it for a while. You should be done by
Oh,
now.
I got to draw is 3 dots in airplane, dude. Are you kidding me?
All right,
Someone
guys.
explain to me.
Draw
People
it.
have, guys, everybody, hold on, you guys. People have headphones in. If we could please try not to scream, people, and it's loud. Okay, so let's. And Brian, your mic was clipping. Let's
I
all
can
draw.
turn
Okay.
down my mic.
All right, Brian's gonna draw that. So can I just get like 20 seconds? Let me just say this. So 2 things. One is this real quick. I'm gonna post this. It's just another perspective grid. But you see how all the lines on the right look like they're going right to left, and all the lines on the left look like they're going left to right. Well, that's just a convergence point, the way that everything, appears to converge at a center point.
Okay.
So if you have, well, hold on, let me just give me like 30 seconds. Okay, so so I'm just saying that that's part of this as to why when you're on the right side of something versus the left side, or if something is on your right versus something is on your left, it's going to have that appearance as everything is setting to that convergence point. So that's part of how perspective is related to this. Secondly, I think, however, what Max is saying to try, the other thing I was going to say is to try to steelman is that I think Max is trying to say when he says antipodal that if you're on a sphere and you're basically rotating away, the sphere is spinning, so you're rotating away from the sun, back and away basically. That he's saying that because you're on the surface is what's causing that effect. The fact that the surface is curving away in the north and south differently, being antipodal, versus it being on a planar surface where you have the perspective from either side of a more local sun. So those are the 2 things. Go ahead.
What he's saying,
No.
Gio, is that you're upside down in relation to me. That's the only way it works.
Yes, because you remember that you have to explain this as referencing the diagonal line on the left and the diagonal line on the right. There's not 2 suns. There's 1 sun that is doing those 2 paths at the same time. The only way that you can have that is when you're antipodal to each other.
Yeah, so I'm not suggesting that it's happening.
The argument with the switcheroo doesn't work.
Told you.
Because we're looking
they
at
don't
one of
understand.
those lines at one time. There's half of that picture happening, and I'm seeing it the other way inverted because I'm upside down.
Okay,
Look
so
in
let me just respond real quick. When I responded, when I was saying this, when I posted that, yeah, I'm not trying to suggest that those are happening from one perspective matrix at the same time. I was just using that to show that if you're like on that dock there or whatever, like that green line that's off to the right that's angling down, if the sun was like far away up near the equator or whatever, and you're in the south, I'm just saying that green line shows what it's going to look like, even though it's actually just going straight across the plane. Because of the way perspective works, everything, just like the train track effect as well, everything's going to be converging to the center. Therefore, you're going to get that effect. And then I was just using that to show on the left side, you see it going right to left. So yeah, I'm not suggesting that one perspective is doing both, but it's 2 perspectives. So you put that guy on the dock, have one dude in the north on the dock like that, one dude in the south on his own dock like that. Now you each have your own perspective viewpoint. And then now, because the sun for the one guy is on its right, it's going to be that line that's converging on the right. For the guy on his left, it's going to be the line converging on its left. Due to perspective, because you're between the sun on one or the other side of it.
Which side of the dock is the south?
Well, if that dock was in the north, then the south is to the left, of course. If that dock is in the south,
then that doesn't work.
And then the sun is to the right, setting.
But then that's not working right because Max says it goes right to left.
What's going on?
And then the way.
So the south can't be on the left because it's arcing the wrong direction.
I'm hearing things about like the solar system and stuff. Like what are you guys talking about?
Yeah,
well, Lizzo's here. It's about damn time.
We'll just take a second
in a minute.
and you can hear what they're talking about, and then you can jump in.
Robert, what I'm saying
okay.
that the dock there with the perspective, what I'm saying is that if that dock were, let's say it was in the Florida, if that dock was literally off the coast of Florida, the sun, while the guy's looking west, the sun is to his left, and therefore it's going to be doing the green line on the left. And whereas if the dock is in the south, then the green line is on the right to left effect, left to right. So it's just one or the other, depending on whether the dock is, let me finish, is in the north or in the south. And then lastly, however, this image is how it this one I just posted at 51 after, that is what it actually looks like though, the way that it arcs across the celestial sphere in terms of the way the sky, like if you think of like a planetarium. So the straight perspective lines are only to show that descent angle difference, but the way it actually arcs is more like this here.
Right.
And
But
that's why
again,
like, for the guy in the south, it's always going to look like it's going right to left all the time because it's the way it's arcing because every day of the year. But yeah, go ahead.
for the 10th time, you have to switch the line that you're looking at to make that argument. That's not what's happening. What is happening is the sun is doing the path of the red line that goes straight across the middle. And because I'm in the south, I see that as number one, being tilted, obviously showing the tilt of the earth. And at the same time, ICSpin in Florida sees it doing the inversion of that direction, while someone at the equator is seeing it go straight over their head. So I only see one of those lines, which is the right to left one. And ICSpin sees the left to right one, and the dude at the equator sees the sun go straight over his head and set directly down in the west.
That's the point. It's not perspective.
It's not perspective. Perspective does not help you here unless you flip one of those people, me or ICSpin, upside down. That's the only way the direction can change like that. You can't refract this in order to make it that way because that would require like a reflection with an inversion, like a flip. So that doesn't work.
And for me, it kind of goes back to, and that's the argument as Max leaves it on the table, and sort of similar to the way that I had mentioned why we see different faces of the moon earlier. I don't think that we ever put a, what do you call it? Put in the what on the kibosh or whatever. We didn't sort of finish that. I was hoping to get a resolution, but go ahead.
Who's Lizzie, by the way?
Me.
Yeah, we're talking about like the sky and the sunset and the earth and how the sun moves when you're in the north and in the south and the sunset. Hey, can I real quick, Max? I just made this image.
Brian.
This explains what I was referring to. So I kind of just crudely did that. Wait, I kind of.
What do you mean, right to?
Yeah,
if
so
you're looking at the plane, what
yeah,
do you
so
mean right to left?
Well, so he's talking about Brian's picture. Brian posted something above you, Gio.
All right. Well, hold on. If you can.
Oh,
okay,
sorry. I was looking at Brian's. Okay. Yeah,
right.
Brian, that doesn't prove your point. Sorry. Go
you
ahead,
guys, we may not agree with some of each other, but I mean, the best we can do is just allow each other. And I'm not saying no one's interrupting too bad right now. I'm just saying that even though we may not feel like we're going to change each other's minds, we just have to, be able to say our points and whatnot. But anyways, okay. So at 54 after
it's just hilarious, dude.
When I posted,
it's hilarious. Sorry.
Well, I just wanted to say, so I understand Max's idea that if you were on a sphere, there would be like, you'd be antipodal. I get all that. But what I was just going to say is in this like little perspective with the dock thing and the one I posted, I was just trying to elucidate what I was saying before. If this dock was in the south, the one on the right, it would be relevant because the sun is at the equator and you're south of the equator and you're looking west. So the sun is obviously to your right. And it's going to be making that right to left, that coming down that green line, in this. That's why I put when in the south. On the left, if this dock was in the north, you're going to have it be right to left when you're in the north because it's opposite. The sun is now on your left as you're looking west. So that's what I'm describing. The perspective effect would be correlated to whether you're in the north or the south, and you don't have to be antipodal or on a sphere for that to occur.
Wait, how would like the Earth hold water? Because I know about like gravity. Oh, excuse me, I'm talking.
Well, that's a different
so I know
topic.
about like gravity and stuff, but like if the Earth rotates, the sides should like completely collapse, and the top and bottom can like still hold water. If that makes sense.
Okay, well, with all due respect, it's a different topic. We could shift to that topic at some point, but we're kind of on this at the moment, if you don't mind. But I hear you, like how water fixes the ball.
I'm making a better version of the image here.
Well, Max, do you at least see what I mean about the perspective grid and how the sun would do that in the north and south?
Can I ask a question, Gio?
No, actually no.
So Gio, the problem that I have with this, I see what you're saying, right? I understand going across the equator. It's going to be going from different directions, like in this perfect example, right? And this might be a different argument. You can tell me if it is, and I'm okay with that. But in your perspective drawing, right, we know that those all converge to a point, and those lines, they never go below that center point. And so even if the sun, right, sets, again, it could be a different argument, but even if the sun sets in the sense that it goes out of view, we're still going to see it as it goes away, and then as it makes its way around the circuit, sort of thing.
Well, if I may,
No.
ICSpin.
On a planar Earth, you mean? That's a different argument, but the fact you don't see the sun 24 hours a day, no. I mean, that's a whole different.
Okay.
That's what you're saying. You would just see it.
Geo.
No, it's way too big. And you're way too small to see the whole sun. Yeah, go ahead.
This is what's happening. The sun is doing the straight path on the equator.
Oh, hold on, I gotta pull it up. Hold on.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
I'm seeing it go like this. Right to left. Now, I will flip it vertically, and now, for ICSpin, while it's going straight, for ICSpin, because he's in Florida, it's going left to right. There's one image of this. There's not both. It can't. The confusion is when you try to look at the perspective grid with two things, because the sun is not converging to nothing. The sun is just having a direct path, which is left to right for ICSpin, right to left for me. This explains it perfectly. No having any other thing than, oh yeah, you're just upside down to each other.
Yeah, if you take one half of it,
that is?
if you take one half of it and invert it, yeah, you can get that geometry, but that doesn't mean that it's exclusive to only occurring if you're upside down. Because could you pull up the one I posted real quick that I drew the thing on with the blue and the yellow? Because that's just. Are you able to pull it up on there?
Yeah, one second.
Well, it is exclusive because it has to happen at the exact same time.
Yeah.
I'm reposting it. Yeah, I mean, I hear you that if you invert it like that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I hear that if you invert it like that, you can get that left to right effect. And I mean, if you think that it is caused by being antipodal in a sphere, obviously you're free to think that. Like, I'm not trying to change your view on it necessarily. I'm just asserting what in terms of the topic. And so what I'm saying this is that if that dock was located in the south, then you get the when in south one, that's because the sun is on your right and it's everything is going to converge to your center point. And then the one on the left represents if you're in the north, because on a planar Earth, it's not upside down. And that's why you're asking, how does this work on a planar Earth?
Right.
Because on a planar Earth, it's all horizontal, it's all parallel, it's all up is up, down is down. Therefore, the way I made that graphic, it just means that when you're in the north, because you're to the right of it. When you're in the south, you're to the left of it, and your perspective is still relevant in terms of everything's going to converge.
Because the sun is not converging. Like, look, does this look like it's converging to the vanishing point? The sun is not even centered in frame. No, the vanishing point would be around the middle of the frame. This is going way past the vanishing point. This because it's not perspective.
At least we found the hang up, dude. They're spatially retarded, bro. No offense, guys.
Oh, it's adorable that you say that with a potato in your mouth.
Oh my
It's
god.
not perspective. It's very easy to understand. It makes perfect
Dude, I
sense.
just drew it again. Y'all asked me to draw it. I drew it
All right,
three different ways. You know what's hilarious? What's hilarious is Max asked, what do you mean right to left? Like, dude, you can look at it either way. It's so hilarious he even asked that. It shows he doesn't understand perspective. This is ridiculous, dude.
All right, Max, can you pull up? All right, Brian, let's go through yours. Can you pull Brian's up real quick so at least we can see what he's saying? He posted it a minute ago.
Yes, obviously.
Yeah, please, I'd love to see this.
Obviously, we can.
There it is. All right, Brian, what did you want to say about this one? He's got it pulled up.
Okay, I did it. Depending on which one they brought up, I just showed it from a God view. I showed it from a God view, and I showed it from a high to low, like an airplane. I showed it as an airplane, just a zero representing an airplane. Okay, it's up above us. Okay, as it goes off in the distance. I don't draw straight lines to it. They move off from left to right and right to left, depending on which side you're on. It's so. How about the drawing? You argue with fucking straight lines, Max.
When does this plane ever do? Let me grab. When does this plane ever do this for me? Never. When does this plane ever do that for ICSpin?
Geo, listen to these questions, dude. Like, I could put it in black and white, and I draw the lines for him, and he still don't get it.
Yeah, but those lines are wrong. Those people were not looking in the same direction, which is west, which is what's happening here.
Dude, I gotta draw a W.
And you say that I'm spatially retarded. That's adorable.
Do I got to draw a W on the horizon, Max, for you to know that it's west? You fucking numbskull.
Why this is the only guy throwing out insults. It's very upsetting.
Yeah, please don't do that, Brian. It's just
I'm just playing with him. I'm literally just playing with him. He said I got a potato in my mouth. So
Yeah,
I'm
after
fired.
you insulted me, which is with the
Max,
whenever you
I'm
try
just
to
playing with you,
insult
dude.
me, I will just insult you more
Fair enough.
savagely and destroy you.
Fair enough, dude. I literally am just playing, dude. I got nothing against you, dude. But no, dude. I mean, this is difficult to. It's like talking to a child, dude. Like I got to draw a
Yeah,
W
it
on the
is.
horizon. I got to draw a W on the horizon, Max, to show you that the circle getting lower is flying off further away.
Well,
Do
with all
you
due
even
respect,
understand that? So you see, hold on.
with
Do you
all
see the zeros? Hold on, the zeros in the sky that are above our head. Okay, they're representing further away, right? And just let's say that horizon is W for west. Okay, so the plane the zero that's above us, we draw a straight line to it. As it gets off further, okay, it gets lower and it gets further to the right for me, and further to the left for at you simultaneously, dude.
Nope.
What do you mean? Nope. I drew the lines.
Yeah, those lines
Are
are
all the lines the
incorrect.
same?
Those in the original image, let me do this. In the original dumb ass image, those people are looking
at each
like
other.
diagonally at each other. This is not what happened. That's why I actually corrected and
Max,
I made them look straight west.
Max, if there's a row
And
of
when
trees
you're looking straight
in
west,
between us,
this plane will never go left to right for me
fair
and
enough.
right to left
Now,
for the other guy. This
Max, if
plane
there's
is
this
just
row of
going
trees,
away.
I hear you. But if there's a row of trees in between us, okay, I'm 1 mile to the left. The row of trees goes off into the horizon on a flat plane. You're 1 mile to the right. You're on the south side. We're both looking west.
Yeah,
So
that row of that will never cross my eye
right, pretend no shit. But it would attempt to though, wouldn't it? Apparently, it would
No, it
get closer and
wouldn't. It
closer.
would not.
Okay, okay. So pretend train tracks then. So pretend however you want. The row of trees for you to draw it on paper to extend off in the distance, it would have to appear to be going left to right towards the center of my vision. For me, perspective, dynamics, no getting around it. And for you, left to right. To draw these trees going off in the distance, this row of trees, the only way to draw it on paper, it would be
It will never cross.
see, you don't want to let me make my point. Is to draw them from right to left because so
No.
if that ain't the case, then you'd only be able to see one tree, Max. You wouldn't be
It
able to
will
draw it on paper,
never.
would you, Max?
It will never cross my the eye line like this. It
I
will
agree.
never
I
cross to
agree.
the other side
I
because it's
agree.
not
But the
perspective.
further I went, hold on. But the further I went, the closer it would get to the
Is this
eye
person
line. Right?
moving further away? No.
See, he does.
The
See, he
sun
doesn't.
is moving right to left because this is not perspective.
This is moving in a straight
You
line,
keep
dog.
refuting
I'm talking.
yourself over and over with silly examples. I love it.
Now he's being dishonest, Joe. He's just being dishonest. Like I literally
Mhm.
drew it for him, drew the lines, and he's acting like he
With
doesn't
all
understand, bro.
I'm
But
with all
literally
due
showing
respect,
it to
Brian.
you and causing you to have a mental breakdown over this.
I'm
Brian,
literally
with all
showing
due
it to
res-
you.
Brian,
Hold
with all
on.
due respect, with all due respect, Brian, that drawing doesn't show what Max is showing. Sorry.
Dude, it's this simple. It's this simple. Okay.
Do you want to see it on SunCalc?
As the plane gets further away, I agree with SunCalc, dude. You're the one who thinks the sun goes.
SunCalc agrees with
I'm
me.
not even
With
going there. You're
you.
changing the subject.
SunCalc shows exactly what I'm telling you. Looking west, that's the orange line, right
Yeah.
to left
Welcome
for
to flat
me.
Earth, bud.
At the
Welcome to flat
same
Earth.
time, ICSpin is looking west, left to right for him. Welcome to
So
the
welcome
globe,
to flat
buddy.
Earth. No, welcome to flat Earth. That's
Oh,
what
I
I'm
love
trying to
the
tell you.
copium.
Yeah, I literally drew a straight line
Welcome to
dictating
flat Earth.
that we see it that way. Because I just drew it on paper, dude, and
No,
y'all are
you
trying
didn't.
to deny. Yes, I did. You're trying to
You
deny
didn't draw
that
anything. You didn't.
that plane appears to go right to left. So let me ask you where.
It
Let me
didn't.
just see honesty test. So the plane that's getting lower, is it appearing to go right to left, left to
No.
right, or straight? It can't be
No.
none. Okay. See, no. See, they just saying no. Is it appearing to go A,
You
right
asked
to
me if it
left,
goes right to left. I
B,
said right to
left to right, or A, straight? Which of the three? Because it can't be doing neither. What's it appearing to do?
If a plane's flying straight
No,
overhead,
my drawing.
it's going straight ahead. Straight
Okay, but
ahead.
does it appear for each observer, for the observer on the right, is it appearing to go
Straight.
move from left to
Straight.
right?
Straight.
Straight. Okay, then
Straight.
why aren't the lines
Straight.
parallel then? Why aren't the
Straight.
lines parallel then?
These people are looking in different directions. This guy, let me grab a marker.
No shit. Welcome to
This
Flat
guy
Earth,
is looking
dude.
that way, and this guy is looking this way. The example that I'm telling you is that those two guys are looking that way, which is west.
Yeah. So why don't you honesty check for you? So
what are
does
those three lines then?
okay, the closer it is, let's say it's halfway to the horizon. Okay, I'm going to draw a line to it. Then it moves
Oh.
three quarters of the way to the horizon. Then I'll draw another line. Okay, it's going to
The
be a
plane,
little bit to the right. Listen, the
excuse me, the
plane's going to be
plane
a
is
little bit
still
to
in
the
the
right.
same
Hold on.
spot on your drawing.
The farther the plane, it's a zero. The farther the plane gets, or the zero, the farther to the right I got to represent it. In other words, if I was to keep going, then
No.
lines would straighten out. It's called
Plane
geometry,
is
dude.
going that
The plane's not
way.
moving.
His
The
plane
plane.
will never do this for me, which is what the sun does for me, and it will. Oh, sorry. This is ICSpin, and do this for me. This example is completely wrong by the fact
Yeah,
that
because you don't get
these
it.
two people are in your example. They're looking at each other, and this is not the scenario. The scenario is the red arrows. Those two guys are looking west, and the
I don't
sun
see your
is
drawing.
going straight over the equator, but I see
Welcome to Flat Earth,
this,
dude.
and I
This
seriously.
guy's a He's a
Yeah,
troll. He's a
I don't
troll.
see.
Trolling.
No, I
All
don't see your
right.
drawing. For one, I don't see your drawing. For two,
Hold
picture of
on.
train tracks.
Look at my.
He's sharing
I'm
his screen.
streaming.
Let Gio go. Let Gio go.
He's doing a screen share. And by the way, you have been welcomed officially. So that means that, you know.
I don't think I've ever been a part of a conversation
Well,
with Brian where he
he
doesn't say
actually
that at
admitted
least 3
that.
times.
Well, does anyone ever take anyone up on the welcoming to either welcome to Globe or welcome to Flat Earth? No one ever says thank you, and no one ever receives.
No,
the
that's
welcome.
funny. The only reason I say that is because if something works on a globe and a flat Earth, if they try and describe it acting like it doesn't work on a flat Earth, then
Doesn't.
I just
All right.
welcome them to flat Earth because until they understand it, and finally, and they'll
I've
all realize
demonstrated
this
it
and quit making this.
so
Trust
many
me when I
different
tell
ways.
you, you'll quit making this argument as soon as you get a spatial comprehension, bro. You'll quit making this ridiculous argument. It's
Unfortunately,
ridiculous.
No,
It's
fucking
pathetic,
no,
dude.
because this
Yes.
argument is true, and it disproves the
I
flat
agree
Earth.
it's true. No, it just proves nothing, dude. It is true. I agree it's true. But the only way it can happen is being antipodal is slow, bro. It's slow. I'm sorry, man.
You are
Can I
slow. Yeah, I agree.
Can I propose a tangent that
Yeah,
you
I'm
brought up?
almost done because I've
Okay,
extracted
go
as
ahead.
many nuts as I'm going to cultivate today.
So you had mentioned the 24-hour sun, or you had mentioned Antarctica earlier, Brian. How does that not?
Hey, hold on, wait. I think you sound honest. So before we do this, quick question: do you agree that my zeros are appearing to go left to right according to the laws of geometry, according to the angle getting
no,
sharper? Okay,
I don't
I didn't
agree.
ask you. I know you're going to just say no. You don't understand geometry, but I bet he does. Do you understand that the angles? Hold on. The angle's getting smaller. The further it gets away, you agree the angle's getting smaller. Therefore, to draw it on paper, or to see it, I've got to draw it from left to right on the right side and right to left on the left side. Do you agree? Or vice versa, however you want to look at it. Do you
To be
agree with that?
honest, I was spending a lot of time
Be honest.
resizing windows, and I kind of heard what you guys were saying, but
I'll
what Max
repost it. Hold on.
what Max was saying was that in the example where him and I are observing a sunset, we're both looking towards the horizon, which is west on the equinox.
Okay, I reposted it, dude. Just look
Yeah, I
and
see it.
pretend
Oh, look
we're
at that.
both looking west. Okay,
They're
Those
do you
not
suns,
agree
they
looking.
are
You have
due
to
to
not
be
the
looking
looking
at
west.
each other.
okay, due to the laws of geometry, the
You're not
farther the
looking west.
zeros get, listen, shut up. Before according to the laws of geometry, the zeros are getting lower and converging, like the angle's getting slighter and slighter due to the laws of geometry. The further it gets away, the less the angle gets.
Those people are
You
looking
agree?
at
Right.
each other.
No,
I'm not talking to
Different
y'all. I know.
directions.
I'm seeing if this guy's honest.
I agree, but listen to me for a second, okay?
Well, teach them that, please.
If we observe the sun, right, from going from overhead on the equinox and then it's setting, right? We can call setting whatever it is. We would expect a size change, and the sun does not change size.
Okay,
throughout the
but
day.
okay, thank you for at least being honest. So at least tell these numbskulls that the laws of angles, the geometry means the
That's got
farther
nothing to do
away,
with it.
the slighter the angle. Yes,
It's
it is, dude. The
irrelevant.
angles are different. The
The
angles are
sun
different.
doesn't.
It's moving from left to right.
The sun's going to maintain, like, this is the difference though, is like if we're looking at it from perspective on a flat earth, the as it gets further away from you on a flat Earth, the same. So let's just call it like a 30-minute period where we can make measurements and we can take snapshots and snapshots and snapshots and snapshots until we can't see it anymore. On a flat Earth, and by the way, Peter Markley has demonstrated this. This is an argument that he makes. But on a flat Earth, we would expect that angle. You can do this with street lamps, which is exactly what he did. And the street lamps will get closer and closer together, similar to like in reverse what you're showing here. The flying away, as it gets further and further away, it'll get closer, just like the street lamps, right? But on a globe,
why do they not understand that though? Yeah.
Well, the issue is that
nothing to do with this.
The issue is that on a globe that doesn't happen. As the time frame takes on, the length between the sun and its setting it maintains. Let's just call it 25 pixels or 26 pixels, right? Every 30 minutes when they take it, it'll
since you were honest with me, bro, I'll be completely honest with you, and that is something I do have an explanation for it, whether you accept it or not. But yeah, I would say that is something that does definitely need to be addressed. But see, so what we did is to demonstrate it, we just took one sun, we put the street lamps in the middle, or I just described it as a row of trees and put the observers on the other side. But it's the same concept. It's the same lines you draw in between. And for the observer on the right or the north, it's appearing to move left or right. And yeah, maybe it should be getting smaller. But thank you for being honest, dude. I wish you'd find a way to explain this to your guys there, man.
You're wrong, though.
I like I said, I didn't like. I've never known either one of these guys to be dishonest. I know that everyone's got the tempers high, whatever, letting it fly. It's whatever. I mean, it's debate, right? Like none of us.
They may not understand it, bro. It's just hard to. Maybe I should soften up. I apologize for keeping on saying dishonest, but it's just hard to comprehend that they don't. When I drew it on paper and showing them that the angles change, it's just the laws of geometry. And the angles naturally change.
My fucking God, for the 5th time, you drew two people which are looking in opposite directions. Look at them. They are looking at each other. I literally showed you. I'll correct your silly image one more time.
Now you're dogging my art, okay? They're looking in between them. The sun's in between.
No, but we're not. They're looking at each other. We are looking west, which means we're not looking at each other.
They are both looking west. Okay, maybe I need to angle the eyes.
Brian, the eyesight lines that you drew here, are those lines parallel, or if I continue them, will they intersect each other, giving us the evidence that these people are looking in opposite directions?
Okay, if something's in between us, Max, I don't need to draw eyes. All I needed to draw was the lines. I just added eyes.
And these lines intersect, which means that they're not looking in the same direction.
Right. In other words, the sun's. Wait, so see what I'll give you. I'll take away the dishonesty. I think y'all are pretending that I'm drawing a sun 93 million miles away. Maybe that's what they're doing, Gio. They're pretending that I'm drawing a sun 93 million miles away. Maybe I don't know.
No, I will literally prove you wrong right now.
Wait, hold on.
But would you agree on paper? Hold on paper. It's going from left to right perspective.
No, because these people are looking in opposite directions, Brian. And what I am telling you is this, and I'm almost done. I have 3 lines left.
So would it not work if I took away that?
1 second. I'm almost done. Boom.
Can I
let me take a screenshot of this.
Boom, boom.
I've arranged and I am demonstrating that your diagram doesn't explain the observation, because I continued the sight lines that you drew, and those sight lines intersect each other, which gives you the idea, which actually shows as evidence that these people are not looking in the same direction. On the other hand, one more sentence. On the other hand, the red arrows are what we are showing with this observation, which is 2 people standing in opposite hemispheres looking at the same direction.
See, y'all, I told you, he doesn't understand perspective. He thinks the lines are gonna converge. When what happens in reality, Max, is the angle gets steeper and steeper. They never converge, Max. You're wrong in geometry.
You didn't draw parallel lines, you absolute moron.
Do you see the lines, the angles getting slighter and slighter? They never
You didn't
converge,
draw
stupid.
parallel lines, dude.
You didn't draw parallel lines. We're looking
But
parallel.
as
We're
I get
looking
further,
west.
as they get further, you see them getting more and more closer to parallel, though, don't you? Duh! For fuck's
But
sake,
they are
dude.
not parallel when you're looking like this in this
I needed to
direction.
draw more lines.
This observation will never be parallel because the lines intersect.
No
Parallel
shit.
lines
Welcome
never
to
intersect.
reality. No shit,
Well, it's
dude.
not a
So
good
even if I made
analogy.
them,
Motherfucker.
So you're telling me
You're
that's
both
where I
looking-
went wrong? Is I didn't draw enough lines? Are you fucking kidding me?
If you're both looking at the sun, your line of sight would be intersecting at the sun. But
No, you're both looking west.
I think Lizzie was trying to say something. So, yeah, Lizzie, this is like a
Thank
intense
you.
conversation that's been going on for
Thank
years. So it may be. I don't know if
Thank
you're
you.
familiar with it, but you want to say something. Go ahead.
Okay, I kind of agree with Brian because if it's on paper and you look at it from kind of not like an angle but kind of an angle, what if they're like looking straight at the sun, even though you really should not do that, it will make you blind. They will be looking in the same direction because some people are like over like across the world from where I am in California, and some other people are like where I am in California, and they could be looking at the sun. They're looking at the same sun, but it looks different. If you guys get what I'm saying.
Right. It's in between us. It's in between
Shouldn't
us.
there be
So
an age limit on this server?
That's exactly what I'm trying to say.
yeah, you see what he does there?
Sorry. Hold up. So like
Yeah,
if
I mean,
like
sorry, go ahead.
if one of you were like across the world in like Japan or something, and one of you were like here in California with me, and we both looked at the sun, we would still be looking at the exact same sun, but it would look different from like
Exactly.
other people's angles or
Right.
perspectives.
Exactly. And as it went away, if we were like side by side, like 10 miles apart, and we're both looking directly west, let's say, we'd have to adjust our vision, that's the max, to the left slightly because the sun's in between us. Okay. It's not 93 million miles away in our model. So we'd look slightly to the north, and maybe I should have drew the lines going off further. But as the lines get further, they straighten out and get more and more parallel. They never do get parallel. Okay. But apparently, if you extended them, they would converge because something in between us, even on a plane, Max, is gonna draw X. If I kept the lines going, the lines of sight are gonna cross because it's in between us, dude. On a plane. But maybe I should have drew the sun going. Maybe I should have drew the sun going further, and I could have demonstrated the lines getting more and more closer to parallel, and that would have just shown it going further right to left and left to right for each apparent
Right.
I
observer
literally
simultaneously.
corrected your drawing with the red lines. And if you consider the red lines and the zeros that you drew, those zeros will never cross my eye line. Ever.
No shit.
Brian.
Welcome to flat Earth,
Demonstrated
dog.
that number one. I demonstrated that number one, you drew people looking in opposite directions, and number two, that even in your argument of the plane, this never crosses my eye line whatsoever because it's going away. So
Never
I
did go right to
literally
left, dude.
disproved your argument wholesale, and you can't deal with it.
Bro, I don't even need an argument. All I got to do is post the drawing itself, the geometry.
And I
drawing
required.
refuted your
work.
drawing.
Your drawing doesn't work.
Where's the
Where
hang
in
up here,
your
Gio? I
drawing-
mean,
Where in
are
your
they
drawing
thinking
does
about the
the
sun
sun
being
go
93
from
million
right
miles
to
away? I mean, what are they missing, Gio? How
Brian,
can
where
they
in
not
your
understand
drawing?
that parallel lines converge apparently? And
That's
No,
what you
what,
drew. You drew lines converging. You drew two people, and now let me tag you again so you don't miss it.
so
You
if
drew
something's
two
in between us,
people
Max, on a
which are
flat plane,
looking
would they
in
converge?
opposite directions. I
Max,
draw two people looking west in parallel lines. Those are the
Max,
red arrows.
if something's in between us, okay, on a flat plane, and we both looked at it, would the lines of sight converge if it was a laser beam eye and it just extended off in the distance? If something's in between us, off in the distance, and we look at it, would our lines of sight
Brian,
converge, Max, on a flat plane,
Brian,
No.
where's
Max?
the horizon on your
Yeah,
drawing,
see,
Brian?
there it is, Gio. There it is, Gio. And here comes
Where's
his
the
white
horizon
knight,
on your
to
drawing?
try and confuse it. I
Well,
gotta
yeah, I
draw the
mean,
horizon. Okay, I'll draw the horizon.
Max, it seemed like you.
Yeah, please
perhaps
draw the
would agree-
horizon on your drawing, Brian,
It
please.
seems like you would perhaps agree with that because even on a globe idea, even though the sun is 93 million miles away, in that model, technically the guy in Florida and the guy in South America, their lines of sight are converging at the sun. Even on the globe model, it's just 93 million miles. It's a very shallow angle triangle, basically, versus if you had a much more local sun, then obviously it would be converging at, you know, that more local range rather than 93 million miles. But what's the issue? What's the issue with the line of sight? Because the line of sight of intersecting at the sun, which is the same object that both people are seeing, is different than the way they see it in their perspective in terms of how it sets. Just like you could be looking at a train track from one side of it versus another, and it's going to look like it's, you know, converging differently for the person on the one side or the other. But at the same time, while it's doing that, both people, if they're looking at a train on the train track, their line of sight is converging at the train.
I'm still waiting for Brian to show me where the horizon
That
is.
only applies, like I told you 5 times already, that only applies when it's on the equator. Now, think of the sun in the tropic, and my observation still stands that the sun still moves right to left for me when it's in the Tropic of the North. And that's why I showed you the picture of the right turn on the road, because that's what's happening.
Can I speak, please?
But this is what it actually looks like, though. I'm posting this. I know I posted it a bunch of times. I'm posting it
Yeah, hold on,
again.
here's Brian's picture.
I mean, this is what it actually,
Geo,
this is
that
what it
image
actually looks
shows
like throughout
the
year.
globe.
Wait, this is good, Brian. Okay, so now show me where it goes right to left for Max on that drawing, Brian.
If it doesn't go right to left, that means it's got to be going exactly
Where?
Parallel for me. Wait, for you to see more than one plane, what do I got to do? I
Wait,
got to
where
change
does it
my
go
angle,
right to
right?
left?
Wait,
Down
no,
to the horizon.
don't dodge. For you to see more
You
than one
don't
plane,
dodge.
if it's a row of trees on the ground, let's say, okay,
You
I
just
needed to
posted
change
the
that whole
drawing.
picture a little bit. Yeah, I needed to change it a little bit to put the horizon right there, but I put it in there just for you to understand. If I
hold
draw a
on.
row of trees in between us, hold on. If I draw a row of
Fucking
tree in between us, if I draw a row of trees in between us, what would I have to do on paper for you to see more than one tree? If I put a straight line going away from you, you'd only see one tree, right? They got to
Excuse
move
me.
from left to right as they go in the distance.
Where in your drawing that you just posted with the yellow line as the horizon is the sun going from right to left as Max is looking west?
Draw the lines. Draw the lines on paper.
Where?
Look, draw the lines, bro. That was a simple drawing. The first one. You wanted me to
You
add a
posted
horizon.
the drawing.
Just draw lines to the fucking circle. It's each circle. It's going to be a different angle. Stupid.
No.
Redraw them.
It's no. The sun is going down towards the horizon, not away from the horizon.
So draw different lines, then, dude. If you draw lines to each circle, they're going to
nothing
have
to
to
do with
move
the
one.
line. The circle has to move.
The lines represents the direction we're looking, dude.
The circle moves, not the line.
Those lines
I give up.
imply
Yeah.
that you're changing directions of your
Right,
looking, that you are looking in different.
Thank you, Max. He gets it.
No, don't thank you my ass. Thank you my ass.
Max,
because
do you see what he's saying?
the lines that you drew imply that it's your eyesight that is moving. This is not what's happening in reality. I literally correct. I'm going to correct this.
Max. So in reality, it's going straight. Max, you just said
again.
Yeah, you just said it, Max.
I didn't say.
No,
I
yes,
have
you did.
never agreed with you.
Okay,
You
did. He
filthy,
won't let me
lying,
talk.
degenerate bastard.
He won't let me talk. So in reality, it's going straight, right, Max? Say it again, Max.
No.
In reality, you're saying no. Now he wants to change it.
I'll correct.
He just said
I'll
it.
correct your retarded image one more time.
So in reality, so as Max said, in reality, it's going straight, but it appears to be moving. So thank you. Welcome to Flerfs, Max.
That proves the
Numbskull.
tilt of the Earth, but you're not ready for that conversation.
So is my paper tilted Earth, dude?
Brian, in the picture you posted, those little circles, which way are they moving?
What way could they be moving?
Are they moving down
off in
towards
the
the
distance.
horizon?
Yeah.
They're moving
getting
down
further
towards
away.
the horizon.
Yes, as they get smaller, they're getting further away.
Okay,
Hey, your own guy agreed with your own guy agreed with me. How come you can't?
No, I didn't. You filthy, lying, degenerate bastard. I didn't agree with you.
The
I
angle
didn't
from
agree
one
with
circle
you.
to the
I'm
next.
correcting.
Not you. The other guy.
ICSpin,
you
he
accidentally
didn't
agreed.
agree with you either.
Yes, he did, dude. He understands
because
that.
he agrees with me, dummy.
If I draw a line of sight to one circle here, if I draw a line of sight to one circle, and then I draw a line of sight
You
to the
don't.
next circle.
Oh, I'm correcting.
He's got to interrupt this. He's got to interrupt. If I draw a line of sight to one circle, then I draw a line of sight to the next circle. Then, and if it moves to the right, in other words, if it's not the same angle, then apparently it moves to the right. Okay, and then I draw another line to another circle even further away, and that angle changes.
There you go,
It means it's
Dumbo.
apparently going If the angles ain't the same,
There you
that means
go.
it's
Now look at that.
apparently moving from left to right.
Ryan, look at the post that Max just posted. That's what happens in reality. What Max
Where'd he
posted.
post it?
In the chat.
In the chat, I literally replied to your silly image.
I don't see it in
When he
chat.
posted, yes, he posted it.
Where
in chat.
you posted your image, I clicked reply and posted my correction of your silly image.
Yeah,
29 minutes
draw a
past the
line.
hour.
Yeah, now draw a line to another circle. Draw a line where you originated to the next circle, and then the one after that.
No, why? I don't need to draw any line because those ignore those blue lines that you did, which are just copium. Those two people are looking that way. Let me put on the direction that these guys are looking. These guys
You
are
don't
looking
understand 3 dimensions, bro.
that
You
way.
don't understand
Oh,
3
yeah,
dimensions.
I don't understand, Brian. Okay,
Look what you drew, bro. Look
stroke that security blanket. Let me
Ryan.
correct your image once more.
Ryan,
okay.
look at the
Spoon
red arrows.
feed
That's what
you
happens in real life.
once again. Here we go.
Max,
Boom,
show me where your brown line. Hey, show
boom,
me where your
boom.
brown line.
There you go.
Max.
There you
Max,
go.
point at okay, very good. There I go. Now draw
There you
an
go.
arrow at the end. Draw an arrow at the end of each brown line and show me how it intersects with them round circles, please.
Because I don't need to.
Because you don't understand 3
I
dimensions.
don't need to because the sun is moving along the path of the brown arrow. I don't need to move my line of sight. I don't need to do anything. The sun appears to set right to left for me every single day of the year.
Welcome
and
to flat
left to
Earth.
right
Welcome
for
to flat Earth.
ICSpin every single day of the year.
Welcome to flat Earth, pal. Welcome to flat Earth. You're getting it.
This does not make the point that you think it makes, you moron.
Yes, it does. Welcome to
No.
flat Earth.
No, it doesn't.
Why do you think nobody else ever makes this argument, Max? Max, why do you think ICSpin agreed with me? Why did ICSpin agree with me?
He didn't agree with you. He agrees with me.
Yeah, he did agree. The angles
No, he didn't.
change. Okay. Yes, he did, dude.
Okay, but that's talking about
What do you mean?
angles.
What do you mean? It's got nothing to do with it. If the angles change, if the angles change to the object that's getting further in the distance, then that means it's appearing. No, you just said
No, Brian,
I'm done.
mother
Yeah, I'm done.
freaking shirt balls.
Try and tell these guys.
Brian, I will pull up my stream one final time.
Like I don't understand the issue. Like if you're south of west, Max, if you're south of west, by the mere nature of you being south of west and the sun sets on the horizon, it's going to go right to left for you no matter what. And if I'm north of west, right? Like if I'm north of the horizon, in other words,
gonna go opposite.
It's gonna go left to right. Like what?
You
Where's
don't get it.
the distance? It's always going to go left to right for me, and it's always going to go right to left for him. I feel like we're arguing something. Are you guys arguing something different, or?
Yeah, no, because Brian wants to claim that Brian has been coping with those silly diagrams and has been drawing them wrong all along because he's basically claiming that you have to change the line of sight. But these two people are looking west and the cameras are fixed and the sun is moving and it's moving opposite ways. And this happens when you do observations at the same time. For two people without changing line of sight, without changing anything, the sun moves opposite ways in the south and in the north. Right, and Brian cannot handle it.
Welcome to flat
Earth. He thinks that you agreed with him. And no, you don't.
But it never goes. It never went. Yeah, it never went right to left for me at all because I left the camera fixed, and it never went left to right for Max at all.
And then the picture that Gio just posted, the sun doesn't go from the bottom; it's coming from the top. So that image you posted is deceptive because it has to come from right to left for Max, coming from the top of the screen down, not from the bottom of the screen towards the distance.
Yes.
Okay,
so
I'd like
and
to
again,
respond.
for like the 11th time, this only works when you're looking at two different lines, Gio. I explained this to you. This is the right lane, the white line in the right lane, and this is the white line on the left lane. This is not the same object. Look, you need to use half of this image, and that's a problem. And I literally demonstrated you when I clipped half of the image and I flipped it that it makes my point. Because, Gio, you're looking at two different things here, not one. There's one sun.
Okay, thanks.
Wait, Max,
now.
can you pull that up, please? Can you pull that up again, please?
What? This?
Yeah, could you
Thank
pull it up?
you. Yes.
Yeah. I just want to respond first to what Robert said. Yeah, there's nothing deceptive about it. It's an analogy. Obviously, the sun's on the road. Oh, could you pull it back up? Because I'm sharing your screen on the
Hold
live
on,
screen.
but I'm
Well,
going
I
to fix
shouldn't have
it
used the
again. I'm
word
going to fix it
deceptive, but
again.
it's not correct. I
No,
apologize.
I didn't say
I
deceptive. I say it
apologize.
just doesn't
I
apply.
said deceptive. I said deceptive. I apologize. I shouldn't have said deceptive. It's maybe a little harsh, but it's something that it's not correct. I meant that. Sorry.
Okay, that's fine. But the thing is, what that shows is if you're on the right side of the road versus the left side of the road, and the sun being on the ground is just an analogy to show
I understand, but
the
we need to
angle
look at
of the
one
perspective
lane.
of what it sets.
We need to look at this lane. This dude is here, and the only way that this, and I literally demonstrated, is when you flip vertical, boom. That changes the direction. It's less pronounced in this one. It was more pronounced in the other one.
Yeah, so this just isn't really exclusive. Like if you put the sun 93 million miles away and try to assume a sphere, you can make a concept in which you're flipping. Or if the sun is more local and you're on one side or the other, you don't need the flipping because you cut it in half. But if you just pull the other half in,
You mean looking at the other object, which there is no second sun?
no, you're looking at the same sun. You're just seeing it from one side of the train tracks, as it were, or one side of the road versus the other. On one of them, you're on the north side of the road. You see the left to right effect. On the other one, you're on the left side of the road. You see the right to left effect. It just shows the symmetry of how when you have a sun traveling between two people, how the perspective accounts for what you're describing.
It doesn't. I don't know how else I need to explain this
You have two
to
different
you.
white lines. You have a white
You are
line on the
looking at
left
two
side.
different white lines, yes.
There only could be one white line.
There's one white line, correct. And if there's one white line, and also you're thinking of this straight, this white line is only straight at the equator.
No, it doesn't. You don't really have to put the white line. I put the sun on the yellow line, which is one yellow line, if it's the same road. So the white line is not really relevant. It's the analogy kind of puts the sun on the yellow, which is the same for both.
Can I speak? Can I say something real quick?
Sure.
Okay, so Max's picture that he pulled up, that he flipped, the sun is in the exact same place. Did you guys not notice that?
We're not disputing that.
But
yeah, the sun is in one place always.
So then, like, how come earlier, you guys were like arguing like that, like about the picture that Brian pulled up, that like everybody was like mad about, like that.
Can you look at my stream?
Lizzie, can
that
you watch
Brian-
Max's live stream? Lizzie?
That's how I joined. That's how I joined here. I was okay.
The left video is sunset in the north. The right video is sunset in the south. In the north, it goes left to right, and in the south, it goes right to left.
But like, I don't get how that makes any sense. That
It doesn't on
doesn't
flat
make
Earth.
any sense.
Well, what's your issue with
It
it?
doesn't make sense. Correct.
Lizzie, what is it exactly that, like, when you say, because you made a sweeping statement that doesn't really, like, challenge anything. Like, what do you mean when you say, like, what Max showed is like we can make observations and they're always going to go left to right on the equinox when you're above the equator, and it's always going to go right to left when you're below the equator. What about that doesn't make sense on the globe model? I don't know. I feel like that's what you're contesting.
Okay, now that you like worded it, that made sense. The way that Max worded it didn't
It's
make
okay.
sense.
We can move past that. But what are you exactly contesting, like, about what he
I'm
showed
trying to
and what
say
he said?
like the picture that Brian like drew, that like the people that were like facing each other, that was looking right at the sun. Never mind. My brain's broken.
It's all right. If you think of it, I mean, come back and, I mean, as you listen more, you can try to make your case. But I don't think
Also,
sounds
is there
like
an
you
age
really
limit?
gather
Is there
what
an
you
age limit on this server?
I'm tired. It's 12:39, but yeah, I'm pretty tired.
Gotcha. No problem.
That's why my brain isn't working that
Yeah,
well.
I'm about to hit the sack too.
Is there an age limit on
Gio,
that?
I need to go, but would you feel better if I bring Jeran over to explain this to you, how the perspective claim does not work?
That sounds like a tacit yes.
Okay, I'll message him tomorrow to see if we can come over and have.
Well,
Maybe he can explain this to you in a more flat Earth friendly way that I haven't thought of yet.
I think I heard what you said. You said something about Jeran.
Yes. Would you feel more comfortable, or would it help if I bring Jeran over to have him explain this to you?
I'm not in any requirement for him to explain anything. Sounds like he just figured this out recently about how the sun moves. So it's, but I've talked to Jeran. I've met him a few times, and I wouldn't mind saying hi to him. But and if he has thoughts on things, I'm open to hear his thoughts. But I'm not particularly seeking him to do anything for this. The way the sun moves in my process of it. But I mean, he's welcome to share his view if he were to come here.
I don't know. Maybe he can explain this more patiently to you, or I don't, in some way that resonates with you more. That was my thought process on that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
I get testy with this. It's because it's baffling to me that you guys don't understand it.
Okay. Well,
I mean, it could be good for the room, right?
I understand. I actually completely understand and could steelman their position. I just don't think it's exclusive to the concept of a globe, but I completely understand the claim. And I mean, basically, essentially it's the mainstream model of the globe. So I'm not really in conflict with the way the globe describes it. Doesn't mean it is a globe, and there can be some differences in terms of how it all works. But I mean, the sky functions as a celestial sphere above a flat plane, in my view. So there are spherical nature to how the sky works. But in this particular case, I don't think what you're putting forth is
You mean two
exclusive to a
celestial
globe.
spheres, right?
Like, it has to do with exclusivity. If there's something that's exclusive
Yeah.
to a globe, then that makes it a difference. If it's not exclusive and it would work,
But
within
that's
a
why I
frame.
asked if you meant two celestial spheres, because my celestial sphere rotates the other way also.
Yeah, no.
When I
it
look
doesn't-
at the south celestial pole, the stars are rotating clockwise around the south celestial pole, which means that there has to be at least two celestial spheres, one for the north and one for the south. I wonder what shape gives you that by default.
a toroidal sky.
Globe.
Toroidal? No, toroidal. No. Do you know what shape magnetic fields move? Do you know the law of the right hand?
Yeah, right hand rule, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an electric field. The sky moves like an electric field, really. I mean, in terms of the way it actually, the motion, the two poles and the straight line at the equator, it's like an electric field circuit.
Those are two electric fields, actually.
No, it's just one.
No, I remember the diagram where someone was showing, I think it was the guy that does the dual pole. And I think you shared it when you shared when you did that little mini presentation for me. There were two big black circles. Those two were the conductors. And if you do the right hand rule, that means that there was two electric fields because there were two conductors.
Like
If
this
you
here?
if you have one conductor, the rule of the right hand will give you one rotation, which is towards the fingers.
Are you talking about
along the conductor?
Are you talking about this image here? Because it's all part of one field.
Yes, that one. Those black spots in the middle, those are two wires. That's why in this case, you would have to put your finger incoming on one to get one direction and your finger outgoing on the other one to get the other direction. That's how that works.
Well, this is a two-dimensional cross-section of an electric field circuit. So
yeah, with two conductors. Those are two wires, Gio.
No, it's one. Like you have positive and negative. It's a polarity.
Wires don't do that. Whenever you connect your electricity, how many wires does it have? It has three, right? Positive, negative, and ground. You can't get this with one wire because do the right hand rule. Your thumb is the wire and your fingers wrap around in the direction of the magnetic field that the wire generates. You get one rotation like that. You need two. So this means that you need to subscribe to the dual pole. And we've gone through this. If you claim dual pole, I will just say you're a glober. Invoking the dual pole to me is a tacit acceptance that you know that the Earth is a globe. We can discuss that if you want further, but I'll be right back. I need to get some burgers, but I can still hear you. I'll just mute up.
Max, buenas noches. Yummy boy.
Have you seen this animation showing two poles?
I'll see you guys. See you, everybody.
Yeah, globe.
Right.
Now, in terms of Jeranism, I know that he doesn't come on Discord much. I mean, if you did want to set something up for him to come, I think it'd be best to probably do it like in a stage channel, maybe where it's not like all open, where everyone's opening their mic, because I'm sure a lot of people are gonna
Yeah, obviously.
want to ask questions and jump in and all craziness. So I mean, I don't know if you were serious about that or not. I mean, you asked me if I wanted him to come explain this to me. I mean, the answer, like, I'm not necessarily seeking him to explain this in a sense, and that's fine. I would be glad to describe my understanding of this. I don't know if he's heard my view on it or not. I know that whether he wasn't aware of how the sun worked in the South or whatever the whole situation is, I haven't watched every single one of his streams or anything since, after all this, but I've seen snippets. So, and you're saying you were talking to him about this argument. I know that you guys are going to do that trip together. And so, yeah, I mean, it could be an interesting discussion. I don't know that he's been open to wanting to kind of discuss. I know that after everything that happened, it seemed like he had this kind of falling out, I guess, or this like breaking away, and then he calls everybody, like liars and they're all wrong or whatever, like flat earthers kind of thing. So I don't know whether he's like into actually putting the pencil to the paper and kind of hashing it all out. See, dude, I thought after TFE that's what he would do. Like, all right, let's have live streams, let's talk about it, let's have guests on, let's see what's up. And it went a very different way. So I don't know if you were mentioning it just like the idea of just this one explanation that he could come and describe his views, or if you were saying in terms of actually having him come here, it could be interesting. I'm sure.
I mean, I'll ask him and see if he wants to do any of it. So, but maybe he can explain, because he relates to flat earthers in a way that I just can't. Because I see, like Brian, for example, I see that as someone being like deliberately obtuse. And even when he gets refuted with diagrams that show that his position is wrong, he just doubles down and starts doing welcome to flat earth, like a fucking moron. But to be fair, if I have to say something for Jeran, I think that his reaction was totally acceptable when he started getting death threats and people like insulting him, threatening his wife, people sharing like stuff that should have remained private, people that he called friends not calling him back. So I think that his reaction is perfectly acceptable to the horrid reaction that the flat earth community had with him.
I mean, that's complicated when you get into all that. I mean, I know Witsit got attacked, but Witsit didn't react like other folks did, or like Jeran did, I should say. Witsit probably got attacked quite a bit, but he didn't react that same way. So yeah, I mean, everyone's got their process or kind of karma or the way they go about things. So,
wait, what karma? Did you say karma?
Yeah, I was just meaning that people have their way of treating others and being treated and going about how they deal with that. And I'm sure Jeran did get attacked, but that doesn't necessarily mean that things are warranted. But I hear you. I mean, whatever it may be with that,
I mean, when you're part of a community for 10 years and just because you say something that they don't like, and the attacks, that the attacks began even before he went to TFE, just because he dared to question and to actually test his claims and make a stand. It's like, okay, if this happens, this cannot work on a flat earth, and asked for explanations of how they can explain. And all they got is Joe Hamby literally making up stuff and having a mirror on top of the dome and having the North Star reflected to the south, and the dome making little circles and the sun making little circles on the side of the dome. Nothing compared to what happened in reality. And I think that is a perfectly valid reaction for Jeran to say, like, yep, I'm out.
Well, I mean, what is there to get out of? Like, he just has his own views. There's nothing really to be in. Like, he's just a human. He's just a human with his viewpoint. There's nothing to get in or out of.
Which is the correct one, because the Earth is
Well, that's the thing about all this. Like, what is the actual truth? So
the Earth is a globe. That's the truth.
Okay, but I mean, you're interested in talking to people who don't think it is a globe. So obviously, you're going to hear all pushback and other arguments. So at the end of the day, you could look at it like, oh, who won or whatever, like this guy won or that guy won over another. But that in some cases can be like a bad faith thing where someone only wants to dunk on someone or they only want to win rather than actually getting to the truth. So if we're just not doing the like, I'm right, you're wrong thing, but more what is actually true, then Jeran is on his own journey. If he thinks he found the truth in his view, okay. If he hasn't, then that's on him, if he's seeking truth, And I mean, I know that's the discussion ultimately, but at the end of the day, he didn't leave anything. Seems like he changed his view. and then became, well, somehow negatively reacting to a lot of people in the community, I guess. Because I mean, yeah, Witsit didn't have that same kind of falling out thing, but I don't know, man. I don't really, I didn't
Well,
watch all of his streams.
I have my opinions. I have my opinions on Witsit, and Witsit is just he doesn't want to work, and he's just trying to grift.
He's not even streaming.
Witsit, I spoke
He
with
is
Witsit
working.
the other day.
He
He
is working.
said, "I don't want to talk to you guys anymore about Antarctica." Yeah, because every time we bring up Antarctica, we crucify you of how did you go and see the 24-hour sun and you're still a Flerf? That is idiotic.
Okay, well, I mean, that's your opinion, but I think there's a 24
Yeah, I
hour
said
sun
it's
there.
my opinion, yes.
Okay.
And I have no, I always say that Witsit is my spirit animal because every time I come to a crossroads, I think, what would Witsit do? And I do exactly the opposite.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that think there's a 24 hour sun there and don't think it's a globe. So it's not flipping
Yeah, those
virtually.
people.
It's not flipping, like it's not flipping virtually anyone. Like of all the people who either were on the fence as to whether there was a 24 hour sun, or they thought there was one, or they thought there wasn't one, either way, everybody now who thinks there is one, or very likely one, even though not all of us have been there, that there is a 24 hour sun there, the amount of those people that flip to the globe is like a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a percent. So those are all people that think there is a 24 hour sun there. And the amount of those people who have a planar stationary Earth and there's a 24 hour sun there, of all those people right now, if you added them all up, a tiny, tiny, tiny fraction, like,
That's
you know, of those people, quote unquote, flip. So obviously you may think it's quote unquote idiotic or whatever you're thinking, but obviously for all those people, it's not at all. And there's nothing about that
those
excludes
people,
the planar Earth.
how do they explain it? They cope with the dual pole, which is a tacit acceptance that the Earth is a globe.
That's actually not the bulk. In fact, the dual pole is actually very, very few in that. Actually, I don't. It's hard to say, but the dual pole is like not something that everybody quote unquote coping or doing anything about. It seems like some people claim they may not know fully. Some people claim something like with the AE map that there could be a internal reflection or some sort of an effect in which that's happening in the outer. Some people think it's an apparent that the sun is an apparent. Some
which is cope.
Some consider the dual pole, but I mean, I'm just saying of all those people that have a planar stationary Earth and don't think it proves a globe or still has for the people that have a planar stationary Earth and who think there's a 24-hour sun there, there's very, very few who flip to the globe. There's still the dual pole would be smaller, although maybe that's expanding somewhat. And then there's other ideas as well, that people have. So
yeah, reflection was tested for, and it wasn't a reflection of the sun; it was the sun. And
see, I think I know why. I think I know why. Gio, and tell me if you think this too. I think you might agree with me on this. I think that people that might be in the Gleason camp that still believe it's flat, that believe we went to Antarctica, so on and so forth. I believe that they take what they believe to be evidence against the globe, right? They classify that as way more valuable than anything that could disprove it about like the Antarctica trip, and or they choose not to really look at the evidence or evaluate it or understand it. It could be a combination of all three, but like I think that they value what they think they are about what they think the globe, for example, like well, they have this gap to fill. Some of the rhetoric that Witsit would use, like they can't even explain, the second law of thermo wherever he goes, right? He does the relativity, and then he'll talk about like we see too far, and we still have to explain like why this happens and that happens, right? And like, do you think that they just value all of that in a higher way against like even trying to interpret like what we would say is a big problem for the flat Earth?
Wait, was that a question? Wait,
I just think that they hold what they believe the flat Earth or the globe model. They hold the negativity that they have against the globe model and the things they think they have the globe model doesn't work, etc. Like they hold that in a higher position than they do for anything that like tells them that it's wrong in the respect of like Antarctica or whatever.
All right, yeah, I see what you're saying. Well, dude, I think like on a kind of meta level of it, you have everyone in the world, and then we're told the Earth's a globe, and then obviously people let's say around 2014, 15, started heavily questioning whether it's a globe, doing observations, long distance, etc., seeing that there's no curvature, etc., and then all the other arguments. I mean, Michelson-Morley and gyroscopes, and is the Earth moving? Does it have curvature? The lack of curvature, all that stuff. So if you add up all of that, and then you have a wide range of people. I mean, some people are, they're like, okay, I'm sure it's not a globe, but I don't fully know what the Earth is, right? There's that position. There's other positions. Well, I'm not sure if it's a globe. It might be flat. And then you have like an on the fence position. You have some that would say, well, I think it's a globe, but this flat Earth thing is pretty intriguing and there could be something to it. You have that position. And then going to the other side of the spectrum, you have people that are going to say, okay, it is a stationary plane. It's not in motion. They've never seen evidence of curvature to be validated to their satisfaction, et cetera, et cetera. So they have a planar stationary Earth view. And, let's say definitely not globe, like that's another position, and so on. So when you kind of add up all of that with the 24-hour sun in Antarctica, I mean, it is a complicated scenario because the Earth being planar and stationary is actually independent from the AE map, technically. Like the Earth just not having curvature and not having motion is technically separate from that Gleason's AE map. But that Gleason's AE map was put forward. People were jumping on board. Some were jumping on board. Some still jump on board now. And I kind of say to some of them, I'm like, well, have you, if you haven't really checked the distances in the south and all that, like you don't really know it's an AE map, how could you really assert it? And some people maybe don't fully assert it. They might just think it's likely or possible. So yeah, man, I mean, you just have a huge scenario like that. And then the 24-hour sun was the no 24-hour sun in Antarctica was a claim that went with the Gleason's AE map. But again, that's not some exclusive flat Earth map, like necessarily. And then you're gonna have some people that thought there wasn't one there, and then they changed their mind to there is one. Some people that thought there was one there all along. Like if you ask SE Montreal, he's always thought there's a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. That's his take. He never thought there wasn't. So, and I also don't think he's jumps on the Gleason's map and asserts it as truth either. If you're intellectually honest and you would say that you haven't mapped the whole Earth, then why would you jump onto that map other than just maybe thinking it's possible or interesting or curious? So anyways, and then, yeah, man. So, I mean, there's just a wide range of views. And then what you're saying, to link it to what you're saying, yeah, there's probably a lot of factors that people would say that a 24-hour sun there is not, it's not exclusive evidence to being a sphere. And then, like you said, either they feel like they've falsified curvature or falsified motion, yeah, those would be in a higher hierarchy than, having to understand exactly how the whole sky works, to explain every single motion of the sky, in relation. So what you're saying is, yeah, I mean, other explanations, well, there's the lack of curve and lack of motion might keep people from, seeing that 24-hour sun as some kind of a break in a planar Earth to where they have to go to globe. So yeah, there's that part. And then what you're talking about, some of these other explanations, like, Joe Hanvey, the idea of an apparent sun, the idea of like a reflection effect, the idea of like a mirrored sky effect, and then the dual pole type of layout, like all of those, people discuss too. And any of those being the case may be more likely to people rather than all of a sudden curvature and motion, existing. Sorry, it was a long answer, but
Gio, but we covered a few of those. In that they tested for the sun, if it was reflection, if the light was polarized as a reflection, and it's not. So the reflection cope doesn't work because they tested for it during TFE.
I think, to be fair, I was asking him a direct question about just his thoughts. Like, I understand what you're saying too, Max, but I think that I was just asking like for a candid response, and I appreciate it, Gio, because I feel that way too. I feel like the barrier is a lot, like, and someone in my position, and Max I think would attest to this, like that the barrier of trying to explain, why things are such a big problem is sort of the bigger obstacle that we face is everything else that's like kind of a conclusive package that might be reinforced elsewhere or here, like when Globers aren't necessarily contesting it. And I think that and there might be the same issue on the flat Earth side, that Globers just can't see like this is a problem, whatever. But like, I don't know how to try and move some of these things forward on either side. I guess that there is always going to be this way in terms of like the debate and stuff for this particular topic, unless there's like a something else. I don't know. It just seems like this is kind of how it's gone.
Well, I mean, this is like a discussion about what the whole Earth is. So obviously it's a huge question, you know, it's just massive. And then all of us are limited to some extent as to what we can do, you know, in terms of being able to do a lot of the tests and things. Just in general, I'm saying, you know, just the people in general, unless, like I said, it's going to take millions of dollars and a research team and a decade, you know, of work to do all the tests that we've all talked about doing. And we will do it all, but it's going to take time. And so, I mean, right now there's a scenario in which there's all these different aspects. Like you have the curvature question, you have the motion question, you have the sky question, you have the sun, you know, question of how the sun moves, the moon, the stars, you know, and so many more topics as well. So when you have all these different topics, and then, you know, whether people are going to be swayed in one way or another, and you may be able to appreciate, maybe not, but okay, let's say from the perspective that the Earth isn't a sphere, that we are the, when I say we, those of us that are either, you know, saying it's not or contesting it, like we are like the ones like carrying the torch for humanity. Like we're keeping it alive. Like we're, you know, holding it down for Mother Earth kind of thing, you know, like I'm just saying that kind of vibe. Now, again, that's from the perspective that it's not a sphere, that the people that are like putting their foot down, like, no, it's not a sphere, guys. Then like we would end up, you know, those people saying that would end up being like the, you know, it's like kind of holding down the fort kind of thing and holding against, you know, the model that we're being told. And now if you flip it and say, oh, it is a sphere, okay, well then I guess the people who don't think it's a sphere would be wrong in that hypothetical. So then in that case, it's like, okay, some people are wrong, who cares? People are wrong about all kinds of things. So it's not really as significant. But the perspective that the globe is wrong actually is significant. And that's why I think everyone's here and is interested in this, because of the significance of what it actually means. And so that was just sort of a roundabout way of saying that when you add up all these evidences, you know, and what you're saying, it's like a checklist, you know. And obviously the 24-hour sun in the south, although it did stir up some energies and some people's viewpoints and stuff, it really didn't do much to actually change, you know, to tilt the scales. You know, okay, Jeran said he changed his mind, a few other people, but it didn't do anything in that way, which you probably would even agree with. So obviously that test was not really enough. Even if thousands of flat earthers all went there and saw the 24-hour sun, it's not like that's going to make a difference, because I already know a ton of people who think there is a 24-hour sun there and it didn't make it a globe for them, you know. But other tests, I mean, that's where it gets interesting, like other types of tests that could be done that would, you know, actually sway people more and be more definitive. And, you know, if those tests showed planar, then you might have the globe folks saying that, oh, you know, maybe thinking that it was a faked or whatever. Or you'd have globe folks being like, okay, wow, it's not a globe. And then if you flip it the other way, hypothetically, if there was actual globe evidence of curvature or whatever, something that really was gonna strong enough to actually change people's views. So, but yeah, I don't think the 24-hour sun was, gonna do that. And I think Duffy kind of found that out the hard way.
Well,
Hey
even
Gio,
showing people
one
about
of the
like
checklist things that you might want to add to the Antarctica thing is that Antarctica is one of the flattest regions of the world. So just add that to the checklist.
Interesting. Yeah, and it's
But,
very high
yeah, but
altitude,
I mean,
right? Like
yeah,
the average altitude
yeah.
is the highest as well when you average it. So it's like flat and high up there.
But you said like
So
one
I'm doing
example.
so no,
One,
just
one
on point.
ex-
I wanted to add to that point. I wanted to add to that point. So observing the sun from one of the highest and biggest plateaus in the whole of the world, how does that make the Earth a globe? Like that doesn't logically follow.
Well, yeah, and you can.
it was based on a hypothesis, wasn't it? I mean, McToon made a hell of a lot of hypotheses that he tested.
Yeah,
That's how you do it. Because everyone, because everyone can post hoc come up with some sort of explanation, but it's too simple. Like mentioning the reflection of the sun could be possibly okay. What is causing all of the the whole spectrum of electromagnetic radiation being able to be reflected? Like take neutrinos. How the hell does a substance reflect neutrinos? Neutrinos travels through absolutely everything. So no, that's what I mean. It's too simplistic models because you forget there's a lot of details deeper down which is not taken into account.
Okay, so I mean, obviously those are a few different topics, although I hear you to consider. But GEMSY, I was going to say too, just real quick with what you said, with the 24-hour sun, there already is the 24-hour sun in the north, and things like the AE map, of the North that, I mean, some globe folks will agree that there are similarities with the AE map and the northern part of the globe. You know, the way the continents are laid out, the North Pole, the way that everything comes out from the North Pole. You know, you have, obviously the land and everything, and then the circling stars, and then the circling sun. And in general, that's never really been contested of how a 24-hour sun would work in the north on that type of, let's say like a Gleason's map. So that's already happening. There's already a 24-hour sun looping around on a planar surface that pretty much everyone agrees, like, yeah, that's what would happen on that layout. Now, of course, the AE map extends out the south, and therefore this 24-hour sun becomes a thing. But that map may not be correct, first of all. And then secondly, to have another spot where you have a 24-hour sun, I realize it does incorporate some need for the sun to do basically like a figure eight, because like sort of like the two eyeballs on your face, like if you were to circle your finger around one of your eyeballs for 6 months, and then you were going to move it and go over to your other eyeball for 6 months, and then back to your, left, right, left, right. So I realize that if you just have one that's circling like only around your left eye, then that's like more like the AE map idea. Whereas you have another one, the way the 24-hour sun in Antarctica implies that there's another one, meaning your right eye, that's also making that. But I'm just saying, like, the idea that there is a 24-hour sun in the north already is not necessarily contested on a planar surface. So why can't you have a second one? The answer is you can. So there isn't anything exclusive about having two of those. You already have one of them. It's like if you have one ceiling fan, you can have another ceiling fan.
That's
there's no
pretty
reason.
obvious. I don't know how the Glovers don't get this. I mean, it's not really that complicated.
Yeah, the stars are already doing it.
I mean, the sky is doing what it's doing above a flat surface. What's so complicated about that?
Well, you might say when you start adding how the sun sets. I mean, in the north, it sets from moving from left to right. In the southern hemisphere, it sets moving from right towards the left.
Yeah,
But
the
think
issue
about
is
this, right?
But you can't have a circling sun above a flat surface setting from right to left in the southern hemisphere.
Yeah, especially if we're using the Gleason map, right, with the Antarctica being on the edge, right? Let's all things else aside, at some point the sun is going to be what we call due south, like as a cardinal direction, and south is always going to be out towards the perimeter on the Gleason map, and that would put the sun outside of the Gleason map, right? It would be you can call it a dome, or you can say there's no dome, or we don't make claims about domes, whatever. But the fact is that the sun, if we're talking about it in reality, where you can still get burned by the sun, right? Because they had to wear sun protection the whole time while they were there. We can call it a physical object that's in the sky doing what it does, and what it does at some point is go due south, which doesn't make sense if it's still over the Gleason map.
Yeah, so people have different views on what that Gleason's map is all about. Some people like the elegance of it and think it may be the case. Some people might really believe it, but like I said, the people who really believe it, like I would say to them, like, have you checked it? Like, did you measure distances in the south? Did you check the layout of the land? The answer is they probably haven't. So it would be a belief basically, or maybe a hunch or whatever it might be, or they just like the elegance, or maybe they just think it's possible, whatever the case is. But when you think about it, I mean, the globe was kind of given to us, when we were born, it was here. And then the Gleason's AE map was also there. It's in the literature. I mean, I wasn't around. I never met Alexander Gleason, none of us did. So there's just like this literature that's just there. And when Flat Earth got really popular in 2014, 15, like the literature all got stirred up, and a lot of people are, and so on. And obviously that Gleason's AE map is sort of put to the forefront, I guess. Now, if you go to a conspiratorial viewpoint, like, was that put to the forefront for a reason? And that's just one theory. Like, okay, the globe is false. And then they had a backup false flat Earth model and map that they sold to people, or that, was there, the big they, in terms of the literature, what's available. I mean, obviously that didn't get scrubbed from the internet. It was there in 2014, 2015. In fact, I saw that map in 2004 when I was researching flat Earth stuff. So it was around back then, obviously. And it was all through the 70s, 80s, 90s. It's been around. So, and even back in the 1800s, some of those guys. But that's not what they all thought. Like Lady Blunt had a two-pole model. She was essentially a dual polar, and that was in the 1800s. So it's not like dual pole is new either. And so, but the AE map was really promulgated, and so a lot of people were talking about it and hook, et cetera. So I understand why, like, now the globe folks want to be like, oh, that's what you guys thought it was, and now it's not. But it's just not really the case. It was another thing that's there that was kind of, potentially sold to people or presented. But from a conspiratorial view, maybe that's also false. It's just like, oh, another false version of the Earth. Okay, cool. Then what's the real one? What's the third option, the true one? Now if someone thinks it is a globe or thinks it is an AE map, okay, that's, but if you consider other options. And so I know it was long-winded, but some of the things you're saying about the AE map, like, yes, the 24-hour sun and the southern stars are problematic for the AE map, and the stars going straight at the equator. And that always has been an issue with the AE map. We've been debating that for years, trying to think of how it could work on that AE map. And I've never heard a really, really good explanation. We've talked about perspective, a mirroring effect, crepuscular rays. Witsit's had some ideas. I've had ideas. We've all talked about certain components of it. So yeah, but I'm just saying, if you consider all of that, then it's not like the Gleason's map is some singular beacon for what the Earth, is. And but I do hear you. I mean, the southern stars and the 24-hour sun have always been an issue for that, and I've never heard a really valid explanation other than like reflective type effects, and and that's why the southern stars in and of themselves have always been a tough part of the AE map idea, let alone the sun as well. So
Max, did you want to
That's
go?
the problem is that the AE map is the only possible map you could have for the flat Earth.
Yeah, so that's what I've heard Jeran say, and I just strongly disagree. If I had a conversation with him,
Where does the sun go? Does it go in the south, Australia, South Africa, South America, and in the north, Russia, Europe, North America?
At different times of year, it's going to have GPs in those areas. Yeah.
No, I don't mean GPs. I mean like the time zone.
You don't even know where the sun is. Why are you asking where the sun goes?
Oh, really?
Yeah, really.
Oh, I do know where the sun is. Ask me at any point during the day, where is the sun?
Really?
There.
Yeah.
I
Do
can
you know the
point to it.
medium that it's in? Do you know the distance? Do you know
The
what's
medium,
behind the
yes.
sun? Do you know what's
The
causing the
medium
effect that we call the
it's in the
sun?
back.
You
The
have all
medium
the
is in the-
answers?
the
Are you
medium
like
is
this
in-
guy
the
that knows
medium-
everything about everything? I doubt it.
Are you going to just endlessly ask questions? Because I can start answering them.
I mean, where is the sun? Where is it? Tell me.
It's you can point at it. It's there. And what distance? It's 93 million miles measured by radar and parallax.
A complete nonsense. I knew it.
Oh, nah. So your answer is nah. Got it. Thank you.
So how do you
Also,
know this? That it's 93 million miles away? How do you actually know this?
I have
Where's
two
the measurement
friends.
of that?
I have two friends who measured it themselves.
With a stick? With a stick or something?
Yeah, with a gigantic. No, actually, you know what? With their dicks, they actually touch the sun with their dicks.
Oh, there you go.
With telescopes. Telescopes, buddy.
Telescopes are measuring devices. Oh.
Yes. Did you know that? Did you know that there's a discipline called astrometry?
Oh, are you saying telescopes measure distance?
I've got the video. By the way,
No,
Max,
you use the telescope as
if you want me to drop it.
an instrument to measure through parallax. You can measure the distance to objects in the sky. Yeah.
If you
Is that
assume
what you were going to drop, Max?
If you
I just
assume
put
the
it in the chat.
radius, if you assume a
No.
radius being
No.
No, I mean we know
No.
that the Earth is a globe. Yeah.
Well, you guys, we should try to not.
But it doesn't matter. I mean, you can do parallax. All you need is a known baseline and two angles. That's it.
Yeah.
The object you're measuring, the distance to, doesn't matter. You can just point it like in the middle or on the outskirts of it, and use that as a target area, and you do the measurements, and then you do geometry, and geometry doesn't lie.
Yeah, so the thing with that, like I was starting to say, is that the reason I was saying a radius is assumed is because if you have a distance, let's say 10 miles, 50 miles, etc., whatever your distance is, if one is assuming that that's an arc length, like a curved arc, because it's a curvature of the Earth, a curved arc, then it's a curved arc in relation to the center of the sphere, thus radius, which means you're essentially you have like a different orientation if this ground is curved, meaning you're looking off, from a globe, from one angle because of the globe is curved versus 50 miles or whatever, you're looking at a slightly different angle. And so the distance, if it's assumed as an arc length, then essentially you are assuming a radius to then actually do that assumptive calculation by assuming a radius and then using that observation. If you don't do that and you actually assume it's planar, then you get a triangulation that doesn't incorporate a radius.
No, you can do that. You can in fact do both models and still do parallax. The distance would change us a tiny bit, not much, going from the curved surface of the Earth to a planar Earth. So still parallax will work. The distances will be slightly different, but that's it.
Can I put this out here? The science says that the universe is 97% out, so you got dark matter out in the galaxy, right? So that would mean that the dark matter is also in our galaxy. So if you can't see or detect dark matter, how do you know that you're not actually looking through dark matter? You're assuming that everything is a vacuum and you're looking through a pure vacuum. How do you know you're not looking through dark matter?
I mean, you very well could. Dark matter, the particularity of that is that it doesn't interact with anything. That's why it's
Yeah,
so
but you
hard
don't
to
know that.
detect.
You don't know that. But so you could be
Well,
looking through the dark matter, which is not a vacuum.
That's the
No, it's
hypothesis.
not a total. It's not a total vacuum, and the space has never been a total vacuum. And the other thing is that as
nothing.
Max was saying, it's like it's based on the current model we have of like gravity, but there is something that is causing like galaxies to rotate, and how light behind galaxy are events which does not conform to the baryonic matter we see. That's why they call it dark matter, because what it seems like is that it has some sort of a mass which creates a gravitational potential. What it is, no one knows yet. And you can see they can measure this. They sort of see this around like galaxies, how it sort of dissipates as it moves away from the galaxy.
Yeah, but how do you know you're not looking through the dark matter? That
Well,
would
you
out all your
do,
wouldn't it?
you do, you do. That's what they popularly call it Einstein's rings. But you've probably seen these images where you have a background galaxy hidden behind a galaxy cluster, and when they do the calculation based on the expected baryonic mass of that galaxy cluster, the light from the galaxy behind it bend more than the baryonic matter should do, which means there's more mass around that galaxy cluster than we can see. This is one way of how they figure out that, yes, there is something out there. But it's not like it's acting on light away from large masses.
I'm emotional. That's right. You can now
check.
Did they drop out?
I don't know. I think everything went silent all of a sudden. I thought it was me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you.
And I can hear you now as well.
Oh, okay.
Everyone that's not in America. Ooh.
Yeah, so what else you can't see and detect? The ether.
So what effect should ether give us?
I don't know.
Then you can't know it's there. Dark matter, on the other hand, shows us there's an effect in the universe.
Yeah, but it could be just the ether.
Of course, it could. Yeah. It could be last Thursday, isn't it, as well? I mean, the universe could be created last Thursday, and in a way that it shows to be old. If well, that's not good enough.
Yeah, but dark matter is an if.
No, it's not an if. It's based on observation and measurements. But what's causing it is unknown. Is it a particle of some sort? Maybe. It doesn't interact with light and baryonic matter in the normal way. We're saying it could be ether. Well, should we see some effect of the ether? What's the hypothesis? What if there was ether? What should we see? What should we observe? And what should we measure?
Hold on. What dark matter is a fill in the blank. It's a mistake in the gravity model. It's missing mass. All it is the remainder of the missing mass put with a number put to it. In other words, they say if gravity theory, all this, relativity and whatever is right, then there should be this much mass, and it's not there. So they just call it dark matter. So all it is a mistake, and they're saying it's got to be there, and it's this amount. So that's the number they put to it. All it is a mistake.
Yeah, the way it acts, though, is that it seems like it creates mass, more mass than baryonic matter. So it has an effect.
My problem with it is
it's called dark matter because science doesn't know what it is yet.
Yeah, because it doesn't exist. Like I said, it's a mistake. And here's the thing: they're giving all these ridiculous. They're adding in these ridiculous amounts for black holes and these stars where a teaspoon weighs 1 billion tons and shit. Like that's after they need the dark matter even after all these ridiculous mass assumptions. And it's just a big joke to me.
Why is that such an? I mean, it was hypothesized by physics way before any black holes were observed. So the hypothesis was there.
The missing mass.
The dark. Yeah. That's what dark matter is. There is something causing an effect which does not. Baryonic matter is too low to create this. effect. So there's something else unknown for now, but that's quite typical in the forefront of physics and science.
Right, that's just assuming the model.
You don't know, but pardon?
That is kind of assuming the model. It could be that the model's wrong and there is no missing mass,
Yes.
and that the stars on the outside spin the same speed because they're all spinning together, and it ain't gravity; it's electrical.
Electrical? So is it electrical charge
Maybe
keeping the stars?
Maybe some cousin of electricity, some kind of force, some kind of electrical force.
Electric would be attracting and repelling.
Yeah, it would, and besides, it would polarize light as well. So we should observe that as well, and we don't. Magnetic fields.
If you start with F equals ma and you substitute for Coulomb's law and you use the figures given by Feynman lecture 2 whatever, it would require like 1,000 coulombs of electricity in the atmosphere. We would all be fried chicken. Nice try, Brian, though.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying. I mean, I'm just correcting him when he's saying dark matter. I think the honest way to put it would be missing mass. That's the honest way to say what it is, missing mass.
The way the measurements are when the observation is interpreted conforms to more mass. That's why it's called dark matter as a holding place. But according to the model we have today, it seems like there are around like galaxies and galaxy clusters, there are more mass than the baryonic one. The mass, the matter that we can see and observe. But the effect is, the effect is like there is more mass than we can see.
Yeah,
so it's basically
the model. That's not a way to put it. I will grant you that. Within the model, if the model's correct, then yeah, then something like that is necessary. Yeah.
Yeah, and it acts like it. I like the example of light being bent by foreground galaxies from the galaxy behind it, bend more than expected by the gravity of the matter we can see. But the effect is the same. It's just like there's more matter in that area than we can detect.
Sure. You should also be able to admit that if the model's wrong and there's another force, dark force, who knows? Then that's another thing you could, another possibility that the model's wrong. There is no missing mass. It's a possibility.
Yeah, there's a hell of a lot of different hypotheses regarding this dark matter, not just matter. In the science of this, they are coming up with a bunch of different ideas, like the MOND, the modified Newtonian gravity. I can't remember all of them. But all those are used to see if they can conform to what we observe and measure. So it's just saying it's only one model, no. And if it tells us that the current model is slightly wrong, well, then the model will be changed.
I think whatever's up there is some type of plasma. It's got to be electrical. Like I'll say this: like you don't grow plants with a big ball of fire, right? You can grow it with grow lights, though. You get the right frequency of light with the electric, plasma. You can use different types of lighting. You get that frequency, and you can grow plants and all that. But like I say, it's like a big fireball. I don't see you growing plants with fire at any size or shape.
But how does plasma create like the whole of the electromagnetic spectrum coming from the sun? Plasma doesn't do that. It only produces a narrow band of the electromagnetic spectrum.
Right. So
plasma doesn't fix it.
Well, you can't get from gases. You can't get a continuous spectrum. You from just gas. You need something else. You need graphite and cobalt, shit like that. You're not going to get a continuous spectrum with just gas.
Yeah, but that was
with helium. Very very localized spectrum, dude. So that proves it's not gas. It's surely not gas.
Would it produce like neutrinos, X-rays, radio waves?
I don't know.
No, it doesn't.
Limitation.
The sun does. No, but I mean, plasma doesn't. But the sun does.
I don't know how to create anything like that. I don't know how. Have we ever replicated anything like that? I don't think so.
Fusion?
Like neutrinos.
Yeah,
Do you,
hydrogen bombs.
The hydrogen bombs. So uranium.
Fusion.
No, if it's a
is the same
hydrogen
process.
bomb, it's not uranium.
Well, what do you think's in a hydrogen bomb, dude? Laugh it
Hydrogen!
Laugh it up.
It's
Laugh it up.
deuterium. It's deuterium, which is basically
What type of hydrogen?
And
Heavy
hydrogen
yeah.
isotope.
Yeah, but a normal nuclear bomb, is fission. The hydrogen bomb is fusion, and we got the same radiation from a fusion, like a hydrogen bomb, as we do from the sun, which tells us that it seems like the process are all the same.
You still got to use a fission bomb to make the hydrogen bomb.
Yeah, but that's like the detonator. But
Yeah,
after
but it's
that,
still
then you start then the fusion takes over.
I know this ain't the way the bomb works, but when you ignite hydrogen in reality, it like kind of implodes. It still makes a loud bang and all that. But I've done that. What you see in the videos, like putting them bubbles in your hand and
But
lighting
you're
them.
not setting fire to it. It's radioactive.
Yeah, it's different. It's different.
It's a radioactive isotope.
Yeah, it's heavy water.
Where did they just find like 1,000 years worth of hydrogen? Is it in America?
1,000 years of hydrogen? What do you mean?
You can make hydrogen from
discovered,
water.
Just discovered lately, like reservoirs. I don't know how it's extracted, but I think it's in America. It's just been discovered, a whole bunch of it. It's going to last 1,000 years.
Hydrogen, like free hydrogen.
Yeah,
in the
hydrogen.
ground or something like that?
No, you mean helium?
No, not helium. Hydrogen. I'll see if I can find it.
Seems like the majority of it, a quick search, the majority of hydrogen in the US is produced, manufactured. A 95.
Server seems to be a little bit on the fritz. All of a sudden, everyone goes silent.
I posted something there. I'm not sure if that's the one. I don't think it is. I think there was one more recent than 11 months ago.
Yeah, it says that geological survey has found, or they suspect that it could be a lot of natural hydrogen in the ground. I'll post the link here. Dead quiet again?
I'm here, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Seems like it's kind of on the fritz.
Yeah. Besides that, how are you doing, Max?
Yeah, fantastic. I made a bunch of Flerfs cry today.
So you made a
satisfactory start of the day.
Max, it's all good though, man. I talk shit, dude, but it's all good. I hope you feel the same, man.
Yeah,
Ain't
you
nothing
don't have the
personal.
mental capacity to affect me.
I'm just letting you know, Barrett. I just get passionate and shit. Ain't nothing personal, dude.
Yeah, I
still
know.
drink
It's
beer
your.
with
I
you.
mean, I would agree with you, but then we would both be wrong.
Okay, man.
Yeah, the Earth is a globe. Sorry.
Maybe you're so sure
No,
of that.
maybe no. The Earth is a globe.
Max, could you imagine the flat earthers making
Your robot.
I'm roboting?
Yeah.
No.
Did you
sorry. Yeah,
You're
I'll
not roboting
change
for
swap.
me.
No, you're fine.
Am I still roboting?
No, you're fine. Yeah, you weren't
What
even.
is that?
Okay. No, I was just asking Max if imagine the flat Earth side would come up with a model based on measurements like the International Terrestrial and Celestial Reference Frame to support their case.
You haven't really got measurements though. You've got calculations, which is totally different to a measurement.
Oh, really?
It is. Really?
So if I parallax my height and I get 1 meter 74 plus or minus 1 centimeter, am I not measuring my height with parallax?
That's a close approximation. You're now telling me you can extrapolate. You don't even know what you're going through, and now you can,
even if you measure my
Listen,
height
you
with
can
a
do
ruler, you
60
still have that
million.
margin of error. So
Okay. Well, I'm
There's
not gonna-
always a margin of error.
Yep.
Margin of error. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes,
in every measurement.
Have you ever noticed that when you look at scientific measurement, it's always a number plus or minus an X amount, which is based on the instrument?
Well, maybe that's not a measurement and it's a calculation, and that's why that is how it is, because it's a calculation.
Well,
How would you measure a
it always happens.
It's not going to change, is it? A measurement's not going to change. If you measure something, you're not going to come back the next day and it's going to be totally different. That's for sure.
But say
But-
you
but-
get
but-
progressively better instrumentations.
I don't
So
have
you
to
measure 174 with a Taylor's, like a Taylor's measuring tape. Then you do, I don't know, like a LiDAR measurement, and you get 174.005. Then you do a better instrument. You get 1.74.005.493. And so on. That is a measurement change, but it's not significant. You're just refining. Milliseconds, I think I was, and that was my
even
last
even
sentence.
yeah,
I'd like
even
to
the
see
change of temperature, even the change of temperature between your measurements, if you look like a tape measure, will affect the measurements. Because if you then the tape measurement will either get longer or smaller, shorter due to temperature changes.
Then you should be saying like, oh, we calculate. That's more.
No, what you tend to do then is make a hell of a lot of measurements at
Then it's
different
not.
temperatures, and you use the average.
Oh, so you calculate.
Yeah, then you calculate. And I mean, a tape measure is based on calculations.
I don't think you understand what the difference is between a measurement and a calculation.
But the ruler you are using, the spacing between the lines in it, is based on calculations. That's how it originates.
And whether it's like a direct measurement or a calculation or a combination of both, that doesn't invalidate the result, right?
Well, when you're making these calculations that the sun and the moon are so many millions of miles away or hundreds of thousands, then yeah, you don't know what you're actually going through, and it's just it's a guess. You're guessing.
Oh, we know.
Okay.
Well, does geometry
wait,
lie?
You're saying that we don't know? Why? Because you know that we send rockets up and we send
Listen to
weather
what-
balloons.
Listen to what Stefan just said. He said, like, what did you say? Repeat that again, Stefan.
I said, does geometry lie?
Yeah. So now all of a sudden it's geometry.
Yep.
Well, yeah, parallax
Like
is geometry.
yeah, because I was thinking about like
To
I was
actually
thinking about
use
like the transit of Venus.
To actually
The
use
transit of
geometry.
Venus is
But listen,
measuring the distance to the sun by using Venus is geometry.
Yeah, but look, to use geometry, you have to input the numbers.
Yeah, and you
so if
get the
you have a
you get the
triangle,
numbers from the measurements.
So you're
if you
now
have a
going to
triangle,
you're now going to make a calculation of a calculation. That's
No,
why
you
can
do. No, you measure first like angles,
measure
and
twice.
then you have the measurements. Then you have the measurements you need, and then you do geometry.
So,
you're gonna
Schlitzy, if I give you a triangle and I give you one side and two angles, can you solve it?
You'll need two angles. If you got one side, you only need one angle. If it's a right triangle.
If it's then you have two angles. So my statement stands and your correction was meaningless.
All right. Yeah, but you don't qualify to talk about parallax, dude. You don't even understand that a row of trees in between us will visually converge to the center of
Oh,
our
we
vision.
have a Flerf
from
recent
left to
to like
right.
3 hours ago.
You
I
literally don't even
stumped
understand
you
that.
with this argument for all night, and you still haven't had
You
enough.
made a fool of yourself, dude.
You want
You literally
more?
made a fool of yourself. Max, why do you think you're the only person using that argument, dude? You might want to reconsider, bro. You're making a fool of yourself with that argument, dude.
No, I literally
hard.
caused you to have a mental breakdown over it.
Hey, dude, you really
It
your
has.
own
I've used
guy.
it. I used it today on 5 different flat earthers. They all crashed out in the most epic ways. So,
Bro, your own guy agreed with me.
no,
Your
he
own
didn't.
guy.
You're lying now.
You
Revelation
just
21.
bro, you're in denial, dude. I don't know. I
Revelation
can't
21:8. But the cowardly, the unbelieving, the vile, the murderers, the sexually immoral, those who practice magic arts, the idolaters, and all liars, that's you, they will be consigned to the fiery lake of burning sulfur. This is the second death. You get super hell, buddy. Congratulations.
That's what you got to do when you're wrong. You got to start talking stupid shit. Look, his own
Oh,
guy.
wait. The Bible is stupid
Yeah,
shit? Okay.
Oh my god, dude.
Okay.
Whatever, dude.
I'll be sure to let Jesus know that you said that the Bible is stupid shit.
Oh my goodness. How do you respond to some stupid shit like that? Like
To
What you
literally
said that.
me quoting the Bible to you.
He's in here
Okay.
pretending to be Christian, like pretending to be a Christian, talking about
I'm
he's gonna
not.
snitch on me to Jesus.
Yeah,
I'm
but
This
not.
dumbass
yeah,
said, snitch on me to Jesus.
I don't pretend to be a
at
Christian.
least you
I'm not. You think you claim to be a Christian, so I read the Bible to you. And this is the second crash out you've had with me
Your
just
own
today.
guy. You called me a
look,
liar.
Max.
Agree with me. Now I'm gonna clip that and make a video on you, bro, because your own guy did agree with me, and
No,
you
he
called me a
didn't.
liar for that.
You
Yes,
know
he
that
did.
Well, at least
ICSpin
Max,
recorded the whole thing, right?
Max,
Before he
at
left.
least Brian agreed that that geometry works, as you can calculate the length of the sides of the triangle.
Yeah, he did try to correct me in vain, but yes, he did agree.
Yeah, so that means yes, geometry works.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. But here's the thing: if you try to use geometry if you use Euclidean geometry for these measurements, if you're going to use a curved ground or a flat ground, there you get different measurements. But here's another factoid: if you use like Euclidean geometry from say 20, let's just say Cancer and Capricorn in one position, one same longitude, and you measure the distance to the sun and just cut a chord in between Earth as your straight line, you get a sun that's about like 1,000,000 miles away. And so we know that the Euclidean geometry. Yeah, do the math, dude. Do the math. Cut a chord line in between 30 degrees north and 30 degrees south, we'll say, and then put a sun and put a distance, a globe calculated distance, and see what distance you get. See what the trig says. It's simple shit. Just go to a triangle calculator. It puts it about 1,000,000 miles away. So if we're going by just the
But
math,
No, it doesn't.
the model's wrong right off the rip. Yes,
No,
it
it
does,
doesn't.
dude.
You did
Now
the math
you're
wrong
arguing.
because you're dumb.
Nuh-uh. That's your argument. Nuh-uh. Bro, go try it.
You
There's
didn't
an
even
extreme.
show
You're
the.
going to no.
So what would the difference be of the angles compared to a curved and the straight line between those 2 points?
It's on the distance, man.
No, you need, if you parallax like that, you need 2 angles, don't you?
Yeah, but if you would agree if you curve the baseline in between us, in other words, we're going to agree that it's a mile, let's say however many miles, it doesn't matter. You would agree that a flat mile is a little bit different than a curved mile, but for the parallax, you're going to get depending on whether you use a straight baseline or a curved baseline, you're going to get different measurements. I mean, whether it's right or wrong, I'll be neutral with that argument. But I will say that you would get, you do.
You're never neutral.
Oh god, I gotta back out, dude. I'll listen.
Yeah,
Dude,
I know. You
you're not
would
in good
never
faith.
be able to handle me.
Max, you're not here in good faith, dude.
Sure. You get refuted with your own example, and I'm the one that's in bad faith.